Chapter 2081 The Extreme Realm of Cause and Effect. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian used a lot of resources to improve his cultivation, but starting from the perfect controller of the real world, the resources needed to improve his cultivation were too many. Even if he had obtained countless resources from the Jimming Mountain realm, most of the resources were still very low end, and for him today, the efficiency was mediocre. Therefore, it is unrealistic for him to rely on these resources to quickly improve his strength. Of course, Yi Tian can enter the primordial Black Sea and use the energy of the primordial Black Sea to temper the whole body step by step, and the speed of cultivation is not slow. It's just that his extreme will is slow to improve, not as fast as before. After a long time, Yi Tian's cultivation level has not been raised to the limit of the perfect controller of the real world, but his strength has improved a lot, and he has created several top extreme control skills. Not only that, Yi Tian is constantly using karma resources to comprehend, and finally comprehends the extreme realm of karma to the limit. Boom! The extreme karma has reached the limit state. Yi Tian can lock any practitioners who have a causal relationship with him through the extreme karma at this moment, so as to spy on them, but they can't detect them. Try to find the Stone Dragon Demon Lord, Yi Tian muttered. In an instant, a causal line connecting with the Demon Lord Stone Dragon appeared in front of Yi Tian, connecting two places. Soon, two Stone Dragon Demon Masters appeared in his causal perception. One is in the end of the world, and the other is in the deep sea. I didn't expect that the extreme karma pole can cross the boundary of the world in the deep sea of poles, so as to find the Stone Dragon Demon Lord, so if I want to deal with the Stone Dragon Demon Lord, he has nowhere to escape. Yi Tian thought to himself. I have to say, the extreme realm of cause and effect is indeed too terrifying. Afterwards, Yi Tian used the extreme karma to find the Lord of Time and the others, and they all found them. However, Yi Tian didn't go to spy on the perfect controllers of the extreme realm. If they were discovered, it would be embarrassing. At this time, Yi Tian took out the mysterious armor fragment on his body, and he wanted to try to find other armor fragments from this armor fragment using karma. Although he has now comprehended the extreme defense of the extreme realm, this armor fragment is very valuable, and he can completely trade it with other extreme realm perfect controllers to obtain the resources he needs. Try it. Yi Tian squeezed the armor fragment in his hand, urging the karma Dao. Boom! A pair of pictures appeared in front of Yi Tian. There are 6 pictures in the end of the world, and there are 12 pictures in the deep sea. Yi Tian also sensed that there were armor fragments in the original Black Sea, but those fragments were too deep in the original Black Sea. Yi Tian tried to keep prying into the primordial Black Sea, but in the end, before consuming his power, he only found a piece of armor. It can only be like this, the original Black Sea is too mysterious, even with my extreme karma, I can't probe too far away. Yi Tian murmured. This time, although he has detected the location of many armor fragments, some of the fragments are owned by the owner, and even in the hands of some perfect masters of the extreme realm, he cannot obtain them at all. Moreover, those who perfectly control the extreme realm may have exhausted the extreme defensive extreme path contained in the fragments, so they are of little value. There are only 5 pieces of armor that he can really get his hands on, of which there is 1 piece in the original Black Sea, 3 pieces in the boundary of the world, and 1 piece in the deep sea of the extreme road. Get the piece of the original Black Sea first. Yi Tian immediately escaped into the Black Sea in the distance, at a positioning point closest to the armor fragment, and then began to shuttle continuously. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian shuttled through the years close to an eternity, and then arrived at the position of the armor fragment. During this period, he repositioned countless times. Original Black Sea. Yi Tian came across and felt it here. Soon, he reached out and grabbed a piece of armor from it. It's really hard to find. If I hadn't cultivated karma to the extreme realm, I wouldn't be able to find this piece at all. Even other perfect controllers of the extreme realm who master the ultimate realm of perfection will not be able to find this fragment. A fragment of armor. 1. Yi Tian said with emotion. In fact, when he cultivated karma to the perfection realm, he also tried to spy on the armor fragments but failed. This kind of thing is of a very high grade, and even the ultimate causal path of perfection cannot spy on its causal line, and only the causal path of the extreme realm can barely spy on its causal line. Today, this piece of armor is still here and has not been taken away. Well, enough to illustrate a point. That is to say, so far there has not been a perfect controller of the extreme realm who has cultivated the extreme realm of karma to the extreme realm. There is no extreme deep sea, neither does the world, he is the only one who has cultivated the extreme realm of karma to the limit. This piece of armor has not been used yet, and the extreme defense pole contained in it is very rich, and it is dozens of times better than the piece I got before. Yi Tian said with joy. Immediately, he escaped from the original Black Sea to Jazia, and began to look for the 3 pieces of armor that he could obtain from Jazia. Dark Blood Domain. This is not the eternal world, it is a special area of Jazia, and it is also a treasure land for many Jazia creatures to survive. When Yi Tian came here, countless creatures from the world felt it. There are countless eternal controllers, many half-step perfect controllers, and several perfect controllers. Under normal circumstances, even the perfect controller would not dare to step into this place. Yi Tian stepped over and came to an ancient blood mountain in the Dark Blood Domain. At this time, the 3-headed world creature in the ancient blood mountain flew out, trying to stop Yi Tian. Go away. Yi Tian exudes the breath. Immediately, the 3-headed world creature trembled, and obediently gave way, not daring to stop it. I saw Yi Tian stretched out his hand, tore the ancient blood mountain apart, grabbed a piece of armor left here, and immediately fled away. Seeing this scene of Zhao Zhao, the creatures from the 3-headed world were extremely angry. Our holy relic has been taken away. Shish, that one is not something we can provoke. Although we have all reached the realm of high-level perfect controllers, that person is definitely not a super perfect controller, but an existence above a super perfect controller, not something we can do. Provoked. Forget it, so many years have passed, and we can't get close to the sacred object. The creatures that touch the sacred object are all dead, and if they are gone, they will be gone. But if there is a sacred object, we may have the hope of comprehending the ultimate defense, so as to advance to the super perfect controller. Compared with sacred objects, life is still more important, so I can only admit it. This piece of armor doesn't consume much. Those creatures from the world can't get close to this piece of armor at all, and they can't consume the ultimate defense power inside it. Yi Tian said with satisfaction. Immediately, he started to go to the next location. Chapter 2082 Harvest 4 pieces of armor. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Juyong Virtual River. This is an eternal world in the end of the world, but it is just a very ordinary eternal world, not even as good as the original world sea. Today's Yuan boundary sea has many half-step perfect controllers, and even under the training of Yi Tian, a few perfect controllers have been born. And Juyong Zuhe has only one perfect controller, which is a very weak eternal world. At this moment, within a forbidden area of Juyong Zuhe, a fragment is suspended in the void. A large number of magic circles are arranged here to cover up the atmosphere here and prevent outsiders from entering. The one who sits here is the Lord of the 9 Suns of the 9 Suns Void River, the only perfect controller of the 9 Suns Void River, and only a medium perfect controller. After Yi Tian came here, he didn't pay attention to the Lord of 9 Suns who was cultivating at all, and smashed countless magic circles with one hand, taking the shard away. The Lord of 9 Suns was furious, but when he sensed the aura of that big hand, it was countless times more terrifying than himself, and he didn't dare to shout. Moreover, before he could react, the shard was taken away. Immediately, he was trembling with fright. How dare he pursue it? This piece of armor is also very good, and there is still a lot of extreme defense power in it. Yi Tian is quite satisfied. However, when he went to look for the third armor 077 fragment of Jazia, he found that it was on a super perfect controller, but this armor fragment was worthless, the ultimate defense power inside was exhausted, but the material was special, the fragments of armor that were of no value to him. So, he left directly without asking for this fragment. Extremely deep sea. The Lord of Black Scales is in retreat. He is a black-scaled armored dragon of extreme Taoism. His bloodline is not strong, and his talent is not very good. He is a mediocre extreme Taoist creature, but he was lucky enough to find a piece of debris a long time ago. At the beginning, although he couldn't get close to this shard, but relying on this shard, he realized the defense pull very fast. Later, he became the perfect controller of the virtual realm, and finally knew what this fragment was. Now, with the help of this piece of debris, he has successfully cultivated the defense pull to the peak of Dachang, and it is not long before he is in the perfect state. Moreover, he was also successfully promoted to the realm of the perfect controller of the real realm. It's a pity that there is not much left of the ultimate defense pull contained in this fragment, only 1/10 of the original one. The Lord of Black Scales regretted. It's a pity that he, CJFJ, only has one such fragment. If there are a large number of fragments, maybe he still hopes to master the ultimate defense pull. Unexpected, time and space froze, and a black area emerged. In the next instant, a figure descended. The cultivator of the world. The Lord of Black Scales was terrified. However, before he could make any movement, his consciousness dissipated, and his body was directly shattered. This figure is naturally Etn, he came here from the original Black Sea and directly killed the Lord of Black Scales. Immediately, he took the piece of armor and fled away. Soon, a big man from the Jadao Deep Sea Palace came. She is the master of the Ice and Snow Palace, and the perfect controller of the Extreme Realm in the Deep Sea Palace of the Extreme Realm. She has mastered the extreme realm of water, ice and wind, so her strength is far beyond ordinary. The perfect controller of the extreme realm. The residence of the Lord of Black Scales is not too far from the Ice Palace where she is located, and just now she sensed the fluctuations of the original Black Sea, so she came to take a look. As a result, it was discovered that the Lord of Black Scales had been killed. The Lord of Black Scales is the perfect controller of the real world, but he was killed by other powerhouses silently. The other party has mastered the extreme way. Could it be someone from the Deep Sea Palace of the Extreme Way? No, it's definitely not them, it's very likely that they are the powerhouses of the world. The Ice and Snow Palace Master tried to spy on time and space to see what happened in the past. However, she couldn't see who was shooting, and could only choose to spy on the dead Lord of Black Scales. Boom, rewinding time and space, scenes from the past are presented. Using her cultivation base to spy on the past time and space of a perfect controller of the real world is a bit difficult. But soon, she still spied something. In the past time and space, a fragment caught her attention. At this time, although Palace Master Bingshe couldn't spy on the specific breadth of the past time and space of the perfect controller of the real world, she still guessed it the moment she saw this fragment. The original black armor turned out to be this thing. The original black armor was smashed, and most of it leaked into the original Black Sea, and a small number of fragments leaked into the deep sea and the horizon of the world. I didn't expect that the Master of Black Scales was lucky to find it. One piece. Palace Master Ice Snow probably knew the other party's purpose, it must be to snatch the original black armor fragment from the Lord of Black Scales. However, just a fragment of the original black armor is of little significance and has little value to her, but to the ordinary perfect controller of the extreme realm, it is still of great value. Or for the strong who are about to master the ultimate defense pole, the value is also great. I want to see who is so shameless, the strong master who has mastered the extremes, and the younger generation who is the perfect controller of the real world, to snatch the opportunity of the younger generation. The Ice and Snow Palace Master began to urge his own causal path to find each other through the causal line. Boom, she began to explore the cause and effect line of the peak of Shaocheng, but only saw nothingness. Can't find it. The Ice and Snow Palace Master was stunned. Soon, she wanted to understand that the realm of karma and karma of that mysterious powerhouse was probably higher than hers. As a result, Jidao Deep Sea Palace is the perfect controller of the extreme realm, good at the extreme karma, and has refined the extreme karma to the pinnacle of Dacheng. However, after the shot, still no trace was found. Damn it, this person must have cultivated the ultimate path of karma to the perfection realm. The Ice Palace Lord secretly said. In desperation, she could only give up. Boundary of the world. Yi Tian looked at the 4 pieces of armor in his hand, the ultimate defense power in one of the pieces of armor was consumed a lot, and only a trace was left, and the value plummeted, but there are still people who want it. Such good things, trading ordinary resources with others is naturally a waste, the best way is to trade treasures containing extreme power with others. Yi Tian thought to himself. He decided to ask the Lord of Kangoo for help. After all, he is the perfect controller of the real realm. He can't fit into the circle of the perfect controller of the extreme realm, and he can't find anyone to trade. After all, the Lord of Kangoo is the perfect controller of the extreme realm, and knowing other perfect controllers of the extreme realm naturally has a channel for trading. Soon, Yi Tian found the Lord of Kangoo and told him about it. Chapter 2083 Primordial Thunderstone, Trade. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. No way tower. Lord Kangoo, I want to trade treasures that contain extremes with others, I wonder if there is a way. Yi Tian asked. Treasures containing extremes. The Lord of Kangoo was taken aback, this is a treasure that he can't even obtain, Yi Tian actually wants to trade such treasures. Lord of the Endless, these treasures are too rare. Even if I own them, I'm afraid I'll use them up. There are very few perfect masters of the extreme realm to keep them. And even if there are perfect masters of the extreme realm to keep them, they will not be used. I will take it out and trade. The Lord of Kangoo said. I also have such treasures in my hand. Yi Tian took out a piece of armor. Seeing this fragment, the Lord of Kangoo looked shocked. The treasure that contains the ultimate defense pole seems to be a fragment. The Lord of Kangoo knows that this thing is of high value. For those who want to understand the ultimate defense of the extreme realm, the value of this thing is too great. Yi Tian said, Lord of Kangoo, there is a perfect master of the extreme realm who wants to understand the extreme defense extreme way in the realm of the world. Maybe there is a similar treasure in his hand. I want to exchange it. Lord of Infinity, you don't need this shard. The Kangoo Lord asked curiously. No need, Yi Tian said. The Lord of Kangoo was a little shocked. Who wouldn't need such treasures? Although just a piece of debris can't help him understand the ultimate defense, but if you collect it slowly, there is hope to comprehend the ultimate defense in the future. Unless Yi Tian has comprehended the ultimate defense, but is it possible? Yi Tian, our perfect controller of the extreme realm can enter the extreme realm of the extreme realm by will. The extreme realm network is an illusory world built by the virtual master. The virtual master has mastered the virtual extreme realm. The perfect controller can't invade the pole network. We can post tasks and ask for help on the pole network. I can help you hang a task. But whether there is a perfect controller of the extreme realm to trade with you, I can't guarantee it. The Lord of Kangoo said. Okay, then thank you Lord of Kangoo. Saying that, Yi Tian took out another fragment, which was captured from the deep sea of the extreme path. There was only a trace of the extreme defense extreme path contained in it, and he was going to give it to the Lord of Kangoo. Lord of Kangoo, this fragment will be given to you as a reward. Yi Tian said, What, give me this treasure? The Kangoo Lord was shocked. In the realm where resources are scarce, such treasures are enough for the perfect controllers of the extreme realm to snatch and fight. Reject, he found himself unable to refuse. Lord of Endless, you are too polite. Don't worry, I will do my best to help you contact the perfect controller of the extreme realm who is willing to exchange. The Lord of Kangoo assured. Then, Yi Tian left. After Yi Tian left, the Lord of Kangoo entered the Jadao network, posted a mission, and then contacted one of his old friends and asked them to help. Dragon Scale Tianhe. This is the 5th ranked eternal heaven and earth in Jazia, and it is stronger than the eternal ruins. This eternal heaven and earth has more than 80 perfect controllers of the extreme state. At this time, a perfect controller of the extreme realm of the Dragon Scale Tianhe, the Lord of Bear Blood, was browsing the Jadao network and saw a task released by the Lord of Kangoo. Treasures containing extreme defense extremes, exchange for treasures containing other extreme defense extremes. Kangoo Master has such treasures. The Lord of Bear Blood was a little curious, and he also knew the Lord of Kangoo. After all, there were so many perfect controllers of extreme realms in the world of the world. Even if they were not familiar with each other, they knew each other. And the Lord of Kangoo is undoubtedly a weaker perfect controller of the extreme realm. It is reasonable to say that it is unlikely that he has such treasures, and even if he does, would he be willing to trade them? Even if many perfect masters of extreme realms have obtained treasures that are not suitable for them, the extremes contained in them are not the extremes of their majors, but they will keep them. You can switch to another way. Although I don't know why the Lord of Kangoo took out such treasures, I just want such treasures. The Lord of Bear Blood himself majored in the extreme defense, and his defense extreme has long reached the perfect state. Moreover, he was lucky enough to obtain a treasure containing the ultimate defense pole, but he still couldn't help him understand the ultimate defense pole. Of course, if you gather enough treasures of extreme defense, you can gradually improve his defense, and one day he will be able to truly comprehend the extreme defense. Ask for flowers. At this time, he took out a stone. This stone contains the power of thunder, and it is the power of extreme thunder. The original Lei Shi, which contains the extreme way of thunder, unfortunately I didn't understand the way of thunder, and the way of thunder is not suitable for me. Even if I recomprehend it, the speed of cultivation is too slow, relying on the way of thunder. There is simply no way to cultivate to the limit, and no amount of such treasures will do. The Lord of Bear Blood said with emotion. He has obtained this treasure for endless years, and he has always stayed by his side without exposing it. He was afraid that he would be exposed, and the perfect controllers of the extreme realm, which were much stronger than him, came to forcibly trade him. Not far. 0. And if he can't get the treasure he needs, he won't take it out for a trade, otherwise it's a free gift. It doesn't make any sense for me to keep this original Thunderstone, just trade with the Lord of Kangoo. The Lord of Bear Blood decided. So, he immediately contacted the Lord of Kangoo. Outside the ruins of eternity, 2 figures appeared one after another, the Lord of Kangoo and the Lord of Bear Blood. Master of Kangoo, you said that you have a treasure that contains the ultimate defense, can you take it out and take a look? If it is true, I can take out another treasure and exchange it with you. The Lord of Bear Blood said. Of course there is, but it's not me who traded with you. The Lord of Kangoo said, waved his hand, and a figure appeared, it was Yi Tian. The Infinity Lord. The Lord of Bear Blood recognized Yi Tian, who is very big and tall, and will definitely become the perfect controller of the extreme realm in the future. He did not expect that the one who really traded with him was Yi Tian, the Lord of Infinity, not the Lord of Kangoo. Of course, it doesn't matter who deals with him, as long as it's real. I have seen the Lord of Bear Blood. After Yi Tian said hello, he took out his armor fragments. The Lord of Bear Blood was shocked when he saw the armor fragments, it turned out to be the original black armor fragments. What is the original black armor? Does the Lord of Bear Blood know the origin of this fragment? Yi Tian was surprised and said the corpse. Chapter 2084 The origin of the original black armor. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. The Lord of Bear Blood did not hide it and explained. There are not many perfect controllers of the extreme realm who know the original black armor, and there are not more than 100 perfect controllers of the extreme realm who know this thing in the world, and I happen to be the one of them. In fact, I know that the original black armor also came from the inheritance of my master. The original black armor came from a much longer time, when the world was still under the control of the deep sea, and countless practitioners were still the slaves of the extreme creatures do not even have a perfect controller of the extreme realm. You are not curious, why did you suddenly have the strength to resist the extreme deep sea in the realm that has no resources and has always been controlled by the extreme deep sea creatures? The Lord of Kangoo also had this doubt. He didn't think about it before, but he only thought that it was the realm of the world that gave birth to a genius, and this was the advantage. The 077, Lord of Bear Blood revealed. Ha ha ha, if a perfect controller of the extreme realm was born in the original world, he would definitely be surrounded by the extreme creatures and grow up. The real reason is the original and extremely terrifying creature appeared in the Black Sea. The other party was wearing original black armor and was severely injured. It was besieged by the extreme creatures. A war broke out. After that battle, all the extremist creatures who understood the extreme extremity fell, and none were left. And that mysterious creature entered the world before he died, and in the world, he met countless extremists. A war broke out between the creatures, and thousands of perfect controllers of extreme realms and countless real perfect controllers of extreme realms fell. What? There is such a thing? Yi Tian was shocked. At this time, the Lord of Bear Blood continued. Since then, the power of the extreme creatures has plummeted, but they are still not comparable to practitioners. After all, extreme creatures can become super perfect controllers when they are adults, and practitioners at that time. There are not many super perfect controllers, how to resist? But I have to say that we cultivators are very lucky. After the fallen mysterious powerhouse was killed, not only did the original black armor on his body shatter, but some of the treasures on his body also escaped to all parts of the world. There are some traditions of practice, which led to the gradual birth of the practitioners who were the perfect controller of the virtual realm, the perfect controller of the real realm, and even the perfect controller of the extreme realm. Among them, he became the first powerhouse in the world of our world, the Lord of Unbounded. It is said that the Unbounded Lord has obtained an amazing inheritance, and then he has easily understood the extreme time and space, and can stay in the original Black Sea. Therefore, those extreme creatures cannot besiege the Unbounded Lord at all. With the help of the Unbounded Lord, many perfect controllers of extreme realms have escaped from birth. After that, as you know, the Unbounded Lord took the surviving perfect controllers of the extreme realm, and broke out a war with the extreme realm creatures covering the deep sea of the extreme realm and the boundaries of the realm. The Lord severely damaged the Abyss Palace Lord and killed hundreds of perfect controllers of the extreme realm. After that, the extreme creatures withdrew from the world, and the world belonged to the practitioners. 1. So it is. Yi Tian and the Lord of Kangoo completely understood. It has to be said that the sudden appearance of the mysterious powerhouse saved Jia, otherwise the extreme creatures would not suffer heavy casualties. Without the inheritance of the mysterious powerhouse, it would be impossible for the world to have so many perfect controllers of extreme realms. It's not a big secret, and it doesn't make sense to know. Lord of Endless, the original black armor fragments in your hand contain a lot of extreme defense power, but the original Thunderstone in my hand is not bad. This thing it was also found in the original Black Sea with good luck, if you trade with you will not lose. Said the Lord of Bear Blood. Okay, then let's trade like this. Yi Tian agreed. Subsequently, Yi Tian made a deal with the Lord of Bear Blood. After that, the Lord of Bear Blood left directly. The original Thunderstone, yes, it is of great use to me. I can keep copying the original Thunderstone, so as to understand the extreme way of extreme thunder. Yi Tian thought to himself. He has now comprehended 4 extreme extremes, and he can stay in the original Black Sea for hundreds of years without being repelled. Stay in the original Black Sea to practice. With the primordial Thunderstone, there is no need to collect other treasures containing the extreme path for the time being. After you have comprehended the extreme path of extreme thunder, go collect it. Yi Tian secretly said. So in the following years, Yi Tian began to comprehend the extreme way of extreme thunder, and he was also constantly improving his cultivation, improving his will to the extreme, and creating more top extreme control skills. As the long years passed, Yi Tian's strength steadily and slowly improved. The other side, Yi Tian's golden-winged pung bird replica body in the deep sea of the extreme way has also grown up, and as a peerless genius, he has grown to the realm of the perfect controller of the virtual realm, and has attracted the attention of the great people of the deep sea palace of the extreme way. And Yi Tian also successfully joined the Jadao Deep Sea Palace. As one of the forces under the Jadao Deep Sea Palace, the Jadao Deep Sea Palace is full of background. After Yi Tian successfully joined the Jadao Deep Sea Palace, he can obtain more resources and secrets. In addition, Yi Tian also obtained his own territory, Hurricane Island, which used to be the territory of a perfect controller of the real realm, but the perfect controller of the real realm fell, and this territory was reused by the deep sea. The temple was withdrawn. Now, it belongs to Yi Tian. On this day, when Yi Tian was cultivating on Hurricane Island, a snow-white woman appeared. This woman was naturally not a human being, but a kind of polar creature, a snow demon, with a snow-white body and a human appearance. There are not many snow monsters in the deep sea, but the snow monster in front of him is not an ordinary polar creature. Yi Tian recognized her at a glance. The Ice Snow Palace Master, one of the 13 Palace Masters of the Deep Sea Palace. Why is this one here? Yi Tian said in shock. Before, this one also went to the end of the boundary and appeared outside the extreme 5.9 Daojun River, but then followed the Abyss Palace Master back to the Jadao Deep Sea. According to his understanding, the strength of the Ice and Snow Palace Master is terrifying, and he has comprehended 3 extreme extremes. I have seen the Ice and Snow Palace Master, Yi Tian said respectfully. Palace Master Bingshe naturally did not recognize Yi Tian's identity. She looked at Yi Tian, full of joy. Very good, your aptitude is very good. Are you interested in becoming my disciple? The Ice and Snow Palace Master asked. What? Yi Tian was stunned. Jadao Deep Sea is still recruiting apprentices. How did he hear about it? Isn't it popular here to accept younger brothers and subordinates? One by one extreme Taoist creatures receive a bunch of subordinates, and these extreme Taoist creatures are the subordinates of the big men of the Deep Ocean Palace. Chapter 2085 Master the Extreme Way of Extreme Thunder. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Why, you don't want to be my disciple? The Ice and Snow Palace Master asked. Willing, Yi Tian said immediately. This is a good opportunity. If you become a disciple of Palace Master Ice Snow, you will have more opportunities to obtain more resources in the future, and you can even easily come into contact with treasures containing extreme extremes. But Palace Master Bingshe couldn't recognize his identity, so he didn't worry that he would be exposed. Great, the Ice and Snow Palace Master was very happy. Soon, Yi Tian was brought to the Ice and Snow Palace by the Ice and Snow Palace Master. Golden Wings, you are my 13th disciple. Currently, there are only 3 disciples in the Ice and Snow Palace. I will ask them to come and get acquainted with you, said the Master of the Ice and Snow Palace. Yes, Master, Yi Tian replied. Soon, Yi Tian met the other 3 disciples of Palace Master Ice Snow. When seeing one of the disciples, Yi Tian was shocked. It turned out to be her. Yi Tian secretly said. This is an Ice Phoenix, the daughter of the Ice Phoenix Master, or did he rescue the Ice Phoenix Master 29's daughter? I didn't expect to become the disciple of the Ice Phoenix Palace Master. This is very lucky. Today, the daughter of the Ice Phoenix Lord is named Bingley, and she has also cultivated to the realm of the perfect controller of the virtual realm. Although she is not a purebred polar creature, her bloodline is not weak. Coupled with the resource supply of the Ice and Snow Palace Master, the speed of cultivation is natural, not bad. The other 2 are in the realm of the perfect controller of the real realm, and they are not very far away from the perfect controller of the extreme realm. However, it is not very difficult for an extreme creature to become the perfect controller of the real world, but it is extremely difficult to become the perfect controller of the extreme realm. I don't know how many perfect real masters there are in the deep sea of extreme realms, there are too many, but the extreme realm creatures that become perfect masters of extreme realms are very rare, and the breakthrough ratio is too low. Comparatively speaking, the breakthrough ratio of Jia is much higher. After Yi Tian met several disciples of the Ice and Snow Palace Master, he was arranged by the Ice and Snow Palace Master to a side hall of the Ice and Snow Palace, which would become a place for his future cultivation. Afterwards, the Ice and Snow Palace Master gave him a lot of cultivation resources, and many treasures of the Ice and Snow Palace were also open to him. There are actually 36 pole monuments in the Ice and Snow Palace. After Yi Tian found out, he was shocked. If you want to know the real river of the extreme way of the world, you can only take out a dozen of the extreme way monuments in one breath, so that people can choose to comprehend. Compared with the Ice and Snow Palace, the true river of extreme Tao is very barren. However, Palace Master Bingshe did not give him the treasures containing the extreme extremes, which was quite normal. After all, for the perfect controller of the extreme realm, the value of the treasure containing the extreme path is also very high. How can it be given to the disciple? However, seeing these 36 pole monuments is also a huge gain for Yi Tian. He can copy these 36 pole monuments one by one, although only one can be copied at a time, and the other pole monuments can only be copied after they are removed. But at the very least, Yi Tian could use these steles to comprehend and cultivate to the perfect state of the poles corresponding to the 36 poles. Of course, for Yi Tian, the biggest gain is still the identity of the disciple of the Ice and Snow Palace Master. This identity is enough for him to do a lot of things. In the following years, Yi Tian continued to send the resources of the Ice Snow Palace to Yi Tian's other cloned bodies to improve the cultivation of other cloned bodies. And all this, the Ice and Snow Palace Master did not find out. Palace Master Bingshe also occasionally instructed him to practice, but it didn't help Yi Tian very much, but Yi Tian also pretended to benefit a lot. Years go by. After Yi Tian became the disciple of the Ice and Snow Palace Master, he gradually made a name for himself in the deep sea of the polar path, and he also had many achievements. The name of a peerless genius resounded throughout the deep sea of the polar path. Moreover, Yi Tian has passed through many treasured places and obtained massive resources, relying on his own identity. Even if he obtains great benefits, those big men would not dare to take action against him. That's the beauty of identity. Gradually, Yi Tian's own cultivation level has been raised to the peak realm of the perfect controller of the real world under these resources, and the will of the extreme way has also skyrocketed. And on this day, Yi Tian had another big breakthrough, that is, he finally realized the extreme realm of thunder. Space pole, defense pole, light pole, karma pole, thunder pole. At present, Yi Tian has raised a total of 5 poles to the extreme realm, and his strength has been greatly improved. This time, Yi Tian entered the original Black Sea to test how long he could stay here, but the time he stayed was beyond his imagination. He has been able to stay in the original Black Sea for trillions of years now, and the time spent this time has increased too much. Of course, even if it were trillions of years, compared to an eternal year, it was an extremely short time. For a cultivator like him, this time was still just a time to take a nap, not worth mentioning. But this is a good start. If he comprehends a few more extremes, maybe he can stay in the original Black Sea for a few eternity years or even longer. The original Thunderstone is of no value to me, should I trade it into other treasures? Yi Tian thought to himself. However, he can no longer let the Lord of Kangoo trade on Jidao.com. He can't just trade it from the Lord of Bear Blood to the primordial Thunderstone. As a result, he does not refine it, but takes it out to trade, which will definitely cause problems. The suspicion of the Lord of Bear Blood, even the Lord of Kangoo would suspect something. Otherwise, get the Jidao Deep Sea to trade. Yi Tian suddenly had this idea. He is now 77's disciple of the Ice and Snow Palace Master, and even if he holds the primordial Thunderstone, no extremist creature would dare to snatch his primordial Thunderstone. That's it, Yi Tian decided. Ice Palace. On this day, Yi Lai please. Master, the disciple accidentally found a primitive Thunderstone, but the disciple doesn't practice the extreme path of thunder and wants to exchange it for other extreme treasures. I don't know where to exchange it. I hope Master can give me some advice. Yi Tian asked for advice. Primary Thunderstone. You are really lucky, this is a treasure that only the primordial Black Sea can have, and it is very lucky to find it. It is estimated that a perfect controller of the extreme realm entered the primordial Black Sea to find it, and then unexpectedly fell. This allowed the original Thunderstone to be revealed to the outside world, and then you were lucky enough to find it," said the master of the Ice and Snow Palace. Immediately, she thought about it and gave Yi Tian a token. The Order of Extreme Mountains allows you to enter the land of extreme mountains, where various transactions can be carried out. Even some big figures in the Deep Sea Palace of the Extreme Way like to enter there to trade with each other. The extreme creatures who enter there are the weakest and the most powerful. The top perfect controller of the real realm, but you are my disciple. Even if you go there, no extreme creature dares to say anything. You should be able to trade the things you need with you with the original Thunderstone, said Palace Master Bingshe. Thank you, Master. Yi Tian thanked. Chapter 2086 Rapid Progress, Building the Original Black Sea Dojo. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Soon, Yi Tian came to the land of the extreme mountains through the extreme mountain order. As soon as he entered the land of extreme mountains, Yi Tian found that this place was similar to the source sea of the extreme path and the devil domain of the extreme path. However, here can accommodate the perfect controller of the extreme realm. The extreme mountain is not big, just the size of a boundary, and this place can still move. Yi Tian was surprised. The land of extreme mountains should be free from the depths of time and space, very close to the original Black Sea, and it is constantly moving, without fixed coordinates. And the extreme mountain order can connect to the magic formation of the extreme mountains, so it can shuttle to the extreme mountains at any time. Moreover, there is a trace of extreme space extremes inside Jishanling, which should be a secret treasure refined by a strong person who has understood extreme space extremes. As soon as he entered the land of extreme mountains, Yi Tian was discovered by many perfect controllers of extreme realms. Disciple of Palace Master Bingshe, why is he here? It seems that Palace Master Bingshe gave her this disciple an extreme mountain order. What's the use of the disciple of Palace Master Bingshe here? What good things can he have? We don't trade ordinary items here. That is, ordinary treasures are not qualified to trade here. A perfect controller of the extreme realm communicated secretly. Not only did they dare not talk openly about the disciples of the Ice and Snow Palace Master. In the entire deep ocean of the extreme realm, which extreme realm perfect controller level extreme realm creature does not know that the Ice and Snow Palace Master is the most protective, so they all dare to discuss it in private. Many polar creatures, who are the perfect controllers of the extreme realm, have opened stores in the extreme mountains, buying treasures they need or selling things they don't need. Of course, those who are the perfect controllers of the extreme realm rarely stay here, they only come here occasionally, so there will be no more than 100 perfect controllers of the extreme realm here. Most of the time, the top real-world perfect controllers are still active here. For example, the shops opened by the polar creatures in the Deep Sea Palace are all their subordinates staying here and in charge of the shops for them. And all the stores have a common acquisition demand, that is, to acquire treasures that contain extreme extremes, and no one has too much of such treasures. Yi Tian strolled around and decided to open a shop himself. Boom! A huge palace stands in the extreme mountains, the size of a small world. And Yi Tian quickly put out the acquisition demand, and he proposed to purchase other treasures containing extreme extremes with primordial thunderstone and primordial black armor fragments, regardless of the type. In this way, there will definitely be polar creatures who are the perfect controllers of the extreme realm to come and trade with him. So, it didn't take long for a perfect controller of the extreme realm to come to Yi Tian, and he was Yi Tian's enemy, the Lord of the Dragon and Snake. I have seen the Lord of Dragons and Snakes. Yi Tian said politely. Master of Golden Wings, do you really have the original black armor fragment and the original Thunderstone in your hand? The Dragon and Snake Lord asked curiously. Yes, the main transaction of the Dragon and Snake. Yi Tian asked. The Lord of Dragons and Snakes nodded. I have a treasure in my hand that contains the extreme way of shadow, are you sure you want to trade it? Can. Yi Tian agreed. He knew why the Dragon and Snake Lord didn't trade with other people. The Extreme Shadows Dao is a very biased Dao. If it is time, space, 5 elements, etc., it is definitely the most popular Dao. The extremist creatures who practice the extreme way of shadow are too rare, and it is estimated that there are no extremist creatures who are at the level of the perfect controller of the extreme realm. Therefore, the Lord of the Dragon and Snake cannot be traded at all. This time, he did not limit the types of extreme poles to purchase, which made the Dragon and Snake Lord excited. After learning the news, he immediately came to trade. I want to trade primordial black armor fragments. The Lord of Dragons and Snakes. Afterwards, Yi Tian completed the transaction with the Lord of Dragons and Snakes, and obtained the treasure in the opponent's hand, the Grass of Shadows. That's right, I have obtained a treasure that contains extreme extremes so quickly, so I won't have to worry about cultivating in the future. Yi Tian said happily. It's a pity that he still hasn't found the treasure that contains the extreme time limit. If he finds it, it will make a lot of money. Not long after, another Extreme Realm Perfect Controller of the Extreme Way came to trade with Yi Tian, and the other party traded away the original Thunder Stone from Yi Tian with the treasure containing the Extreme Blood of the Extreme Way. After that, there was another Perfect Controller of the Extreme Realm, who used the treasure containing the Extreme Way of the Extreme Sword to trade away another piece of the original black armor from Yi Tian's hands. So far, the original black armor fragments and the original Thunder Stone on Yi Tian are gone. As for the treasures just acquired, there must be no extreme creatures asking for them, otherwise the Lord of Dragons and Snakes would have already traded with others. That's it for the time being. Wait for the ultimate Tao of Shadows, the ultimate Tao of Blood, and the ultimate Tao of Swords to cultivate to the limit, and then collect the treasures that contain the ultimate Tao. Yi Tian muttered. Years go by. Yi Tian, the clone of the golden-winged Peng bird, has been raised to the realm of the perfect controller of the real realm, and with many resources, he has been raised to the peak level of this realm. The master of the Ice and Snow Palace is a master, so other extreme creatures do not find it strange. On this day, Yi Tian finally cultivated the Shadow Realm to the limit. After cultivating to the ultimate realm, Yi Tian went to the primordial Black Sea to practice, and found that he could stay in the primordial Black Sea for dozens of eternity years. According to this level of improvement, if I comprehend an extreme way, I am afraid I can stay in the original Black Sea for tens of billions of eternity years. Yi Tian guessed. So in the following years, Yi Tian began to fully comprehend the extreme way of blood. Finally, he spent more than 10 billion years of eternity, and this was the ultimate realm of comprehension and cultivation of blood. Not only that, Yi Tian's other cloned bodies also took the time to comprehend other extreme ways, and more extremes were cultivated by Yi Tian to the perfect state. But even so, Yi Tian's endless extreme Tao has not yet reached the perfection realm. He is currently in the late stage of the great accomplishment realm, and he is still far from perfection. Original Black Sea. Yi Tian has been cultivating here since he has comprehended the ultimate Tao, just like the years, but also Zhao Zhao as a repulsor of the Black Sea without a knife. Sure enough, at least I can stay here for tens of billions of eternity years, and I won't wait until the day I'm ostracized. I can comprehend the extreme way of the ultimate knife again. It seems that I can't test myself. How long will it take to be repelled by the original Black Sea? Yi Tian thought to himself. After all, his ascension speed is too fast, and if he wants to let the original Black Sea reject him, unless he has not cultivated, he has been in this stagnant state. Without testing, at my rate of progress, I can stay in the original Black Sea almost forever, so I can build a dojo here. Yi Tian secretly said. He was going to build the dojo in the very far depths of the original Black Sea, so that it would be more secure. So, Yi Tian shuttled back and forth in the original Black Sea, positioning countless times, and finally after a long time, he finally determined a position and started to build a dojo. From now on, this dojo is also the place where he majored in, and it is also the safest place. Chapter 2087 Time Snake Bead. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Yi Tian took out a lot of precious materials and used them in the construction of this dojo. After all, it is a very important place for him to practice in the future, so he naturally needs to invest more resources. In addition, Yi Tian also arranged a magic circle, and these magic circles involved all kinds of extremes. Even the ordinary perfect controller of Extreme Realm would be difficult to break these magic circles. It took a long time for Yi Tian to completely build this magic circle. In the future, I will send a clone body to retreat here for a long time. Yi Tian decided. On the other side of the Sea of Origin, it is enough to send a will clone to sit in town. In the following years, Yi Tian tried his best to comprehend the ultimate Tao of the ultimate saber, and strive to raise the ultimate Tao of the saber to the ultimate realm. In addition, with the help of his identity as a golden-winged pengbird, Yi Tian came into contact with countless polar creatures in the deep sea of the polar path, and many of them possessed the zodiac ancestral ancestry, so the number of his extremist ancestral ancestry became more and more. Gradually, many of Yi Tian's extreme ways were enlightened and cultivated to the perfect state by Yi Tian. Relying on these extreme realms of perfection and those few extremes, Yi Tian still had a hard time cultivating the endless realm to the perfect realm. Slowly cultivate hard, wait for more and more poles to improve to the perfect state, and the endless pole will be able to feed back to the perfect state. Yi Tian secretly said 077. But this will take a very long time, and it is not a goal that can be achieved overnight. Finally, on this day, Yi Tian's extreme swordsmanship was cultivated to the limit by him. As for whether he can stay in the original Black Sea permanently now, he doesn't know. Anyway, there is no way to test it. As the extreme Tao of the blade has been raised to the extreme realm, Yi Tian has no way to comprehend other extreme extremes, so he began to search for treasures containing other extreme extremes. In the deep sea of the extreme realm, many perfect masters of the extreme realm possess this kind of treasure, but if the other party does not take it out, Yi Tian has no way to copy it. He can't say let these extreme creatures take out this treasure for him to appreciate, it is absolutely impossible. Therefore, he can only choose to trade. It's a pity that these powerhouses do not see the treasures they need and will not take them out. My attractive treasures are only the karma purple flower, and the other treasures acquired are rarely needed by the perfect controller of the extreme realm. But the karma purple flower is definitely required by many perfect controllers of the extreme realm. Yi Tian muttered, but karma Zaihua can't be traded in the deep sea of the extreme way, otherwise he can't explain the origin of this treasure. After all, he was the karma purple flower that he robbed from the Polar Road Demon Domain. It seems that you still have to trade karma Zaihua at the end of the world. Yi Tian decided. This time, Yi Tian is going to designate a treasure transaction, that is, to use the karma purple flower to trade the treasure that contains the extreme time limit. As for whether it can be traded, it depends on luck. So, Yi Tian asked the Lord of Kangoo for help and posted this task on Jidao.com. After the Lord of Kangoo knew that Yi Tian had the karma purple flower in his hand, he was really shocked and wanted so much, so he had not yet realized the ultimate karma, and the ultimate karma was too useful. The Lord of Kangoo wanted to use the countless treasures on his body in exchange for the karma purple flower, but in the end he didn't say such a thing. Soon, the perfect controller of the extreme realm of the whole world knows the news of karma Zaihua, and they are all very excited. Everyone knows that the karma ultimate Tao is difficult to cultivate, it is much more difficult to cultivate than other extreme paths, and other extreme paths can't enhance their strength until they reach consummation. But the karma is different. Even the entry-level karma is very helpful, and many perfect masters of the extreme realm want to improve the realm of the karma, and the karma purple flower can do it. Extremely real river. That boy in Kangoo has a causal purple flower in his hand. The Lord of the Night was a little surprised. Moreover, the Lord of Kangoo actually used the karma purple flower to trade treasures that contain the extreme time limit, which is not CJFJ too stupid. After all, even if there is a treasure that contains the ultimate time pole, even if it is traded, there is no way to master the ultimate time pole. If you can't master it, you can't improve your strength. But the karma purple flower is different, it can improve the realm of karma. The time pole can easily be raised to the perfect state. After all, whether it is the boundary of the world or the deep sea of the pole, there are a lot of pole treasures that contain the time pole, so there are reference objects as a reference, and there are even poles that contain the time pole. Therefore, many perfect controllers of the extreme realm have mastered the time pole of the perfect realm. However, there is almost no way to comprehend the extreme karma, and there are not many perfect masters of the extreme realm who have cultivated the extreme karma to the perfect state. Therefore, the value of karma purple flower far exceeds other treasures. My karma is only a small realm, and the karma purple flower is very useful to me, and I also have a time snake bead that contains the extreme time limit, although it comes from a special creature, but the time snake bead it does contain extreme time poles. Afterwards, the Lord of White Knight contacted the Lord of Kangoo. Soon, the Lord of Kangoo contacted Yi Tian. The Lord of Endless, the Lord of White Knight has the treasure you need that contains the extreme time limit. The Lord of Kangoo said. Real, Yi Tian is so excited. Thank you, Lord of Kangoo. Yi Tian said gratefully. Small matter, I'll contact the Lord of the White Knight and make a deal. The Lord of Kangoo. Not long after, Yi Tian and the Lord of Kangoo met the Lord of White Knight. When the Lord of White Knight saw Yi Tian, he immediately understood that the person to be traded was not the Lord of Kangoo, but Yi Tian. This is a time snake bead. It doesn't come from the deep sea and the end of the world, nor is it a treasure nurtured by heaven and earth. It is a creature I accidentally encountered in the original Black Sea. After killing it, I found that this bead should be similar to the energy core of some creatures. This kind of time snake bead contains the extreme time pole, and the amount contained is quite large. I don't know if it can be used to trade your karma purple flower. Ask the Lord of White Knight. Yi Tian agreed, but restrained the excitement in his heart and acted calmer. Very good, easy, the Lord of the Night. Then, Yi Tian took out the karma purple flower, and after the Lord of White Night confirmed that it was correct, he completed the transaction with Yi Tian. Swish, the Lord of the White Night took the karma purple flower and left directly. And Yi Tian took the time snake beads and went back to retreat and practice. Chapter 2088 The Power of Extreme Time and Space Poles. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. With the time snake beads, I can keep copying the time snake beads one by one, and then use the limit time pole in the time snake beads to comprehend, then I can raise the time pole to the limit. Yi Tian said excitedly. Afterwards, he went all out to retreat and practice. Time passed slowly, Yi Tian's comprehension of the extreme time extreme way became deeper and deeper, the long years passed, and the time extreme way was finally realized to the extreme realm by Yi Tian. When the time pole reached the limit state, Yi Tian suddenly felt that the world was different. Boom! The combination of the extreme time pole and the extreme space pole made Yi Tian see through the original Black Sea. At this moment, he knew that he could stay in the original Black Sea completely, and he would stay there forever and would not be rejected again. Swish! Yi Tian quickly shuttled in the original Black Sea, and the speed was several times faster than before. I didn't expect that the combination of time and space in the extreme realm could actually make my speed so many times faster. It's an earth-shaking change. Yi Tian said in shock. However, the changes don't stop there. Standing in the original Black Sea, he could even sense the boundary of the extreme realm and the deep sea of the extreme realm. It was not a preliminary induction, but all the boundaries of the realm and the deep sea of the extreme realm. Under his perception, the deep sea and the horizon of the world are like a whole, similar to a heaven and earth, integrated into one, and also similar to a prison. Only then can we escape from this prison and come to the original Black Sea. In addition, under his perception, the original Black Sea contains infinite time and space changes. If you don't master the extreme time and space poles, traveling here is simply a random shuttle, and you will get lost here. Of course, even if he is lost, he can return to Jazia. After all, he is the life of Jazia and can return at any time, which is the so-called direct return to Jazia from the location. However, in the original Black Sea, he didn't even think about gaining anything, and he didn't even think about finding any benefits, and he kept wandering in the lost world. But after comprehending the extreme time and space, Yi Tian will not be lost. The unbounded Lord must have comprehended the extreme time and space, and the Abyss Palace Master should have also understood it. As for whether other extreme perfect controllers have comprehended the extreme time and space, it is hard to say. Yi Tian guessed. In the days that followed, Yi Tian kept patrolling the primordial Black Sea. Suddenly this day, Yi Tian discovered that a perfect controller of the extreme realm of the realm had escaped from the realm of the realm into the original Black Sea. If he did not understand the extreme time and space, and sensed the horizon of the entire realm, he would not be able to find the other party's escape. But now, he sensed it, but the other party couldn't sense his existence. After the perfect controller of the extreme realm escaped into the original Black Sea, Yi Tian lost the perception of the opponent. Obviously, the opponent's current position was too far away from him, so he couldn't perceive it. No, another extreme perfect controller has escaped into the extreme perfect controller, why is it so frequent? Yi Tian was surprised. In the world of the world, there are absolutely few perfect masters of the extreme realm who have understood the extreme way. If they escaped into the original Black Sea one after another, there must be a big event. But Yi Tian didn't hear anything in the world of the world. Wow, a copy of Yi Tian's body locked the opponent's previous position in Jazia by sensing the position of the opponent's escape. It is the perfect controller of the extreme realm of the real river. Yi Tian confirmed the identity of the other party, and both of them were the perfect controllers of the true river of extreme Tao. Obviously, Jadao Junhe was hiding something. However, if you only comprehend an extreme way, you can't stay in the original Black Sea for a long time, so Yi Tian just waited in the real river of extreme way. Sure enough, not long after, a perfect controller of the extreme realm came back from the original Black Sea. It's him, the Lord of Biming, the fourth powerhouse below the three powerhouses, the Lord of the White Knight, the Lord of the Golden Body, and the Lord of Destruction. Yi Tian secretly said. The other perfect controllers of the extreme realm could not perceive the fluctuation of the Lord of Biming's return, but they couldn't hide it from Yi Tian, so he accurately locked the Lord of Biming. In the years that followed, the Lord of the White Knight actually returned from the original Black Sea. They will definitely go again. I will lock their positions through the Karma Tao, and I have realized the extreme time and space Tao, so I can follow them in the original Black Sea. Yi Tian secretly said. After all, he was too curious. There must be something big about the perfect masters of the extreme realm. If there is a big chance, he may find that he can mix it up. If it is discovered, then it will be discovered. Anyway, I have no malicious intentions, and they are both practitioners of the world, and they will not embarrass themselves. For flowers, and he really has to start, with his current strength, he is really not afraid. Yi Tian waited slowly, and finally on this day, the Lord of Biming entered the primordial Black Sea again. Yi Tian did not hesitate in the slightest, following the opponent's position, he also escaped into the original Black Sea. When the Lord of Biming enters the original Black Sea, it will form a faint time-space fluctuation, similar to a kind of time-space channel. If you do not understand the extreme time-space pole, you will not be able to grasp this kind of time-space fluctuation at all, unless you forcefully follow the Lord of Biming to enter at the same time. It is possible to keep up with the Lord of Biming, otherwise, if you are a little later, you will not be able to enter the place where the Lord of Biming is positioned. But in that case, it will naturally be discovered by the Lord of Biming. And Yi Tian has understood the extreme time and space, so he can naturally seize the opportunity to escape directly into the place where the Lord of the Northern Underworld is positioned through this kind of time and space fluctuations. 0. In this way, after he entered the primordial Black Sea, he was very close to the Lord of Biming, and he could use the karma to track the Lord of Biming. Otherwise, the distance is too far, Yi Tian will not be able to find the Lord of Biming. Yi Tian came to the primordial Black Sea, and used the extreme time and space to cover himself, almost blending into the primordial Black Sea, and it was not easy to be discovered. This is also careful, the Lord of Biming is gone, it seems that he is gone. Yi Tian immediately motivated the extreme realm of causality, and locked the position of the Lord of the Northern Underworld through a weak causal connection. Swish, Yi Tian shuttled, but slowed down. After all, the speed of the Lord of Biming was too slow in his eyes, and he could catch up almost instantly. The Lord of Biming shuttled for a while, came to a place, and then stopped. And Yi Tian is hidden in the distance. In this position, Yi Tian can perceive the Lord of Biming, but the Lord of Biming cannot perceive him. At this moment, the Lord of Biming took out a token. Soon, the space of the original Black Sea oscillated, and a space-time portal appeared. And at this time, Yi Tian was shocked. He sensed another piece of heaven and earth, no less than the size of the world, but it was not the world. Oh my god, Jadao Junhe actually discovered a place similar to the end of the world, and also mastered the way to enter, no wonder they are so hidden and not shared with other eternal worlds. Yi Tian was surprised and said the corpse. Chapter 2089 The Black Domain of 10 Directions, Amazing Harvest. Open black lens bracket request full order close black lens bracket. Although Yi Tian didn't have the token to enter this place, but he understood the extreme time and space, and now he sensed the time and space fluctuations in this place, and he could directly escape into it. Yi Tian escaped into this world with the extreme time and space extreme way, and then hid it. Even other extreme perfect controllers who understood the extreme time and space extreme way would not find him if they didn't always perceive the whole world. What? Yi Tian was shocked. He found that this heaven and earth turned out to be a ruin, the origin here is dissipating, the rules of heaven and earth are shattering, and the infinite territory is annihilating. In addition, although there are still some creatures in this world, they cannot breed strong ones, and the Tao here is completely broken. It seems that a war broke out in this world, and this world will be destroyed. After endless years, the 077 here will be completely smashed and disappeared, and it will be integrated into the original Black Sea. Yi Tian secretly said. In addition, Yi Tian felt the rejection. This world is rejecting him, let him leave here. Even if it is the world that is about to be destroyed, after all, Yi Tian can't compete with the world in the deep sea of the extreme way. I could probably be here for hundreds of millions of eternal years. Yi Tian estimated. This is because he has comprehended the extreme time and space poles and several other extreme poles, so that he can resist the power of this world and stay for such a long time. At this moment, he completely understood why the Lord of the North and the others came here again and again. Obviously, they couldn't wait here for a long time. Exclusion. Therefore, after a period of time, they must return to the world and wait for the repelling effect to pass before they can enter here again. In this way, although it is a waste of time, it is also impossible. In the following years, Yi Tian wandered in this world, sneaked into many forces, and silently took away their inheritance. After all, there are almost no strong people here, and the most powerful ones are only high-level perfect controllers, and there is not even a super-perfect controller. Because this piece of heaven and earth is not allowed to comprehend a kind of extreme way, if you can't comprehend the extreme way, naturally there is no way to become a super-perfect controller. Moreover, there is no way to breed a life like polar creatures here. For a strong man like Yi Tian, all the resources here can be taken away at will. It's no wonder that the perfect masters of the extreme realm come here again and again. Although the resources here are scarce, new extreme resources cannot be born, but some forces even collect a lot of extreme resources, but there is no way to refine the extreme resources. Yi Tian murmured. Moreover, there may be a pole monument and treasures containing extreme poles. After all, even if the world is destroyed, these treasures will not disappear. Anything you can find will be a big hit. At this moment, Yi Tian was excited. If I find some more pole tablets or treasures containing the ultimate pole, then I will make a lot of money. Yi Tian thought to himself. And now, Yi Tian also knew the name of this piece of heaven and earth. The 10 Directions Black Domain. In the past, Shifang Black Territory was also a very prosperous place. With 10 black territories, there were quite a few perfect controllers of the extreme realm. At their peak, they even reached the perfect controller of tens of thousands of extreme realms. However, a long time ago, a terrifying creature entered the 10 Directions Black Territory from the original Black Sea, and a war broke out. Although many of those creatures were killed, the 10 Directions Black Territory was also blown up, and countless cultivators fell, and even those who perfectly controlled the extreme realm all fell. After these creatures devoured countless living beings, they left. The 10 Directions Black Territory was wiped out, and now these creatures were born out of the 10 Directions Black Territory and gained the inheritance of the predecessors and grew step by step, but they can only grow to the realm of high-level perfect controllers, and there is no way. And here, they can't comprehend the extreme way, let alone the extreme way, so they can't leave the 10 Directions Black Territory, and they will only perish together with the 10 Directions Black Territory. This is their result. Those high-level perfect masters also know this, so they are very crazy, trying various secret techniques to try to master the extreme way, and even not swallowing countless creatures to strengthen themselves, but they all fail one by one. Yi Tian doesn't care about the creatures in the 10 Directions Black Territory, he only cares about his own gains. Relying on the extreme karma, he can find resources very quickly, and he can stay here for a long time, so the perfect masters of the extreme realm cannot match his search speed at all. However, the resources left by the Shifang Black Domain are not as many as Yi Tian imagined. It seems that there was definitely a perfect controller of the extreme realm who escaped into the original Black Sea with a lot of resources. Maybe he was killed in the original Black Sea and everything fell into the original Black Sea. The harvest here is probably not as much as I imagined. Quote. Yi Tian secretly said, still, it's nice to be able to find some good stuff. In a short period of time, Yi Tian found more than a dozen pole tablets, and the more broken pole tablets, the less valuable. And he also found more than a dozen kinds of treasures containing extremes. As for various inheritances, there are indeed many, but unfortunately for a strong man like him, inheritance has no value. This day, Yi Tian used a scale to cast the ultimate karma and found the corpse of a creature. An area that was almost destroyed in the Tenfang Black region, it even merged with the original Black Sea, and the body of that creature was about to be swallowed by the original Black Sea. The corpse of this creature is still intact, and its size is incomparably huge, comparable to the size of a realm. When Yi Tian used the copy talent to spy on the corpse of this creature, he saw its talent situation. There are actually 3 ancestors of extreme Taoism. 5.9 Yi Tian was a little surprised. Open black lens bracket ancestral Fu of extreme Tao, black armor close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ancestral Fu of extreme Tao, strength close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ancestral Fu of extreme Tao, darkness close black lens bracket. According to the information fed back by the copying talent, this creature is called the primordial black beast. Judging from the name, it should be a creature from the original Black Sea. The original Black Beast, I have escaped in the original Black Sea for so long, and I have never seen it. It seems that the secret of the original Black Sea is too big. Yi Tian murmured. He copied all the 3 sects of extreme Taoism, and then took away the original Black Beast. The strength of this primordial Black Beast is not weak, it is much stronger than the ordinary perfect controller of the extreme realm, and it may not be weaker than the Lord of the White Knight at its peak. The corpse scales and bones of this kind of creature can be used to create weapons, and maybe they can create weapons that surpass the extreme treasures. Chapter 2090 It was discovered. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Time flies, Yi Tian has scraped a lot of resources in the 10-direction black domain, and he has obtained hundreds of extreme treasures, and there are even more fragments of extreme treasures. And Yi Tian also found some palaces, but the palaces were shrouded in magic circles and could not be opened for a while. But this piece of heaven and earth has been broken, so the fragments of heaven and earth are directly intercepted, and the area where the palace is located is directly taken away. Anyway, Shifang Black Domain can't stop him. He took away the places that could not be parsed for the time being, and went back and parsed it slowly. Somewhere in the black domain of the 10 directions. The Master of the White Knight, the Master of the Golden Body, the Master of Destruction, and the Master of the North Underworld, the 4 perfect masters of the extreme realm gathered here, and they all looked unsightly. Lord of the White Knight, I haven't gained much recently, how about you? Asked the Lord of the Golden Body. I didn't gain much. I sneaked into many places and found that the treasures in many places seemed to be taken away during this period of time. Did you do it? The Lord of the White Knight asked. I also found that many treasures suddenly disappeared, but we agreed before that if there are valuable treasures, and they are useful to us, we should learn from each other and use them. 29. It's not you, who is that? Practitioners in the 10 directions black territory can only cultivate to a high-level perfect controller. They can't even comprehend the extreme way, and they can't even reach the power of the extreme way. These treasures are gone, it can't be made by them. Is it possible that there are other perfect controllers of extreme realms entering here? It's not us, it can't be the Lord of Unbounded, right? The Lord of Unbounded has no interest in ordinary treasures, and all the valuable things to him in the Tenfang Black territory have been taken away by him. And the existence and entry of the Tenfang Black territory, the tokens here are all left to us by him. It is impossible to compete with us for these treasures. Of course it's not the Unbounded Lord, but it's not our words. Where did that thing go? Could it be the Abyss Palace Master who followed us here? Palace of the Abyss. Impossible. If it was him, all those extreme creatures would definitely come one by one, and with the style of Palace Master of the Abyss, he would definitely find a way to occupy this place, instead of sneakily looking for treasures. Let's talk to the Lord of Unbounded about this matter. If it is some powerful existence in the original Black Sea, which leads to the tracking of the boundary of the world, it will reveal the location of the boundary of the world. Okay, let's inform the Unbounded Lord. The Lord of the Golden Body and the others went back immediately, and then contacted the Lord of Unbounded. Boundary of the world. The Unbounded Lord has returned. In fact, he has been retreating in a dojo in the original Black Sea recently, so after receiving the message from the Golden Body Lord and the others, he immediately came to the boundary of the world. Did something happen? The Unbounded Lord asked. Immediately, the Lord of the Golden Body and the others talked about the situation of the 10 directions Black Domain. Hey, besides you, there are other perfect controllers of extreme realms who have sneaked into the Black Realm of the 10 directions. The Unbounded Lord was surprised. We guess so. The Lord of the Golden Body nodded. Let's go, I'll take you there to see. If there is, the other party will never be able to avoid my detection. The Unbounded Lord said confidently. After all, he has continuously comprehended the extreme time and space, and he has also raised the limit to the real limit, and has mastered many powerful secret techniques, and even has several weapons that surpass the extreme treasures. It is because he understands the existence of extreme time and space, and he cannot avoid his detection. Soon, the Unbounded Lord also came to the 10 directions Black Domain. Boom! The power of the Unbounded Lord began to probe the entire Black Domain of the 10 directions. Yi Tian is happily searching for treasures one after another. Although there are not many treasures in the 10 directions Black region, if you search carefully, you can still find them. But suddenly, Yi Tian's complexion changed. Not good. He knew that he was locked, and that a strong man far surpassed him came to the 10 directions Black Domain, and absolutely understood the extreme time and space, otherwise he would not have felt it now. Before he could escape, a figure appeared in front of him, and there were several familiar figures. Lord of Boundless, Lord of Golden Body, Lord of White Knight, Lord of Destruction, Lord of Biming, how are you? Yi Tian said embarrassedly. The Endless Master of the Wudao Pagoda is you. The Lord of the Night was shocked. He naturally knew Yi Tian. After all, Yi Tian came to Jadao Junhe to help before, and he also traded karma purple flowers with Yi Tian. The perfect controller of the real world is strange. It seems that you have comprehended the extreme time and space, otherwise you would not have come here silently. The unbounded Lord said. The infinite Lord has comprehended the extreme way of time and space. The Lord of the golden body, they were stunned. None of them comprehend the extreme time and space extremes, either only comprehend the extreme time extremes, or only comprehend the extreme space extremes, and they are still a little short of comprehending the extreme time and space extremes. But now the unbounded Lord said that Yi Tian had comprehended the extreme time and space, and he surpassed them, which made them not shocked. Lord of Endless, you should know the existence here, why is it here? Asked the Lord of the Night. Yi Tian said casually, I was wandering around in the original Black Sea, and suddenly I sensed the waves of the 10-direction Black Domain, so I fled here to look for treasures. Nonsense, the original Black Sea is endless, how could you just find it here? The Golden Body Master said in disbelief, you must still follow us. Forget it, even if the Infinite Lord follows, that's his ability. Said the Unbounded Lord. If it was before, he might maintain the perfect controller of the extreme realm of the Jadao Junhe. After all, he is a member of the Jadao Junhe, but now his state of mind has risen to a higher level. In his opinion, Yi Tian is also a member of Jia Jia, all his own. It's just that he gives priority to taking care of the practitioners of Jadao Junhe, but since Yi Tian has found this place, he will not do anything to Yi Tian. Lord of Endless, you have also gained a lot of benefits here. Forget it, you have to leave some good things for the other perfect controllers of the realm of the world. Said the Lord of Unbounded. Okay, I'll listen to the Lord of Unbounded, and stop looking for treasures here. Yi Tian said, anyway, the generation is enough, even if you give up, it doesn't matter. Then, Yi Tian left with the Unbounded Lord. Just when Yi Tian was about to return to the world, the Unbounded Lord said, the Endless Lord, are you interested in going to my dojo to sit down? Chapter 2091 The Three Original Ancestors, The Inscription of the Void. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Yi Tian naturally did not refuse the invitation of the Unbounded Lord. After all, the Unbounded Lord is the first powerhouse in the world, and he is far inferior to the other party now. Moreover, the Lord of Unbounded must know a lot of secrets, and his understanding of the original Black Sea is also above him, so it is naturally necessary to have a good relationship with the Lord of Unbounded. The Unbounded Lord invites me, then I will disturb. Yi Tian followed the Unbounded Lord, first returned to the boundary of the world, and then escaped from the boundary of the world into the original Black Sea, so he quickly arrived at the Unbounded Lord's dojo in the original Black Sea. The end of the world is a transit station for us, which is convenient for traveling in the original Black Sea. Said the Lord of Unbounded. Yeah, if there is no realm, it would be really troublesome for us to travel. Yi Tian nodded. The dojo of the Unbounded Lord is very large, and the materials used here are very extraordinary. Unbounded Lord, your dojo is even more majestic than the power of the extreme treasure. Yi Tian said in shock. In his opinion, the value of this dojo surpassed a large number of extreme treasures. Moreover, this dojo can actually be mobile, constantly moving in the original Black Sea. Even if Yi Tian came here today, he would not be able to find this dojo in the future. I spent a lot of money to build this dojo, it is now a primitive weapon, even if it is tens of thousands of extreme treasures, it is not as valuable as it. The Unbounded Lord said, original divine weapon, what kind of weapon division is this? Yi Tian asked. The Lord of Unbounded did not hide it, and directly revealed, on top of the extreme treasures are the primordial magic weapons, and there is no primordial magic weapon in the border of the realm, and there is no weapon to create the primordial magic weapon, and it must be found in the original Black Sea. Only with the materials, can we hope to create the original magic weapon. Of course, it is not easy to create the original magic weapon, it is very difficult. I see, Yi Tian understood. Afterwards, the Unbounded Lord took out a portion of tea leaves and brewed a pot of tea for Yi Tian. This is the original ancient tea, you can taste it. The Unbounded Lord said, thank you, Unbounded Lord. Yi Tian took a sip, and suddenly felt that the will of the extreme way had improved a little, and his comprehension had improved a little, and the speed of comprehending the extreme way was much faster. Good tea. Yi Tian was surprised. This is the first time he has seen the will of the extreme way that can improve the powerhouse of his level, and can also assist in understanding the extreme way. Moreover, the tea brewed from the original ancient tea is delicious. Original ancient tea is very rare, even I don't have much, I only drink it occasionally. The Unbounded Lord said with a smile. Unbounded Lord, you invited me to come here, won't you just drink tea? Yi Tian asked. Naturally it's not drinking tea. The Unbounded Lord's face was straight and he said, The Endless Lord, how much do you know about the perfect controller of the extreme state? Yi Tian said. The perfect controller of the real realm can raise his own extreme path to the perfect state or any kind of extreme realm to perfection, and then break the limit of the real body of the extreme realm to achieve the ultimate realm, and then he can become the perfect controller of the extreme realm. And if the perfect controller of the extreme realm comprehends the extreme extremes, it will be another level, and the strength will be greatly improved, and then they will continue to comprehend various extreme extremes and enhance their strength. As for how to improve later, I do not know. The Lord of Unbounded nodded slightly. The situation that the Lord of Endless understands is the well-known situation of the boundary of the world and the deep sea of the extreme way, but in fact this division is very rough. Strictly speaking, the perfect controller of the extreme state who does not understand the extreme way, they can only be regarded as the perfect controllers of the pseudo-extreme realm, and they are not really the perfect masters of the extreme realm at all. Just like the boundary of the world, there are only a few who can really be regarded as the perfect masters of the extreme realm. Of course, if you, Lord of Infinity, break through the realm, you will be considered a 1. The perfect controller of the extreme realm who understands the extreme way is the real perfect controller of the extreme realm, and it can also be called the first ancestor. The original ancestor is another name for the perfect controller of the extreme realm. Fang Heiyu can be called the original domain. The original domain, the original ancestor. This is the first time Yi Tian has heard this kind of title, but the Unbounded Lord definitely didn't name it randomly. The Unbounded Lord continued. Most of the perfect masters of the extreme realm can only be regarded as the first-level ancestors, even if they comprehend several extremes, they can only be regarded as the first-level ancestors. In order to rise to the limit of the perfect controller of the extreme realm, this is the second ancestor, the extreme way and the pagoda of will are merged, and the extreme way is engraved on the pagoda of will. As long as one is successfully inscribed, it is the third ancestor. 1. What? The ultimate pole can be engraved on the pagoda of will? Yi Tian was shocked. Of course you can, but ordinary ancestors can't do it at all, and if you don't understand the extreme time and space, the will of the extreme will not be able to break the limit, and you are not qualified to inscribe the extreme on the pagoda of will. And tell you a secretly, the method of condensing the will pagoda was not created by Jia, but after a terrifying powerhouse fell to Jia, the inheritance I got from him was passed on to Jia. Practitioners. The pagoda of will is too important for practitioners in the world. Without the pagoda of will, many perfect controllers of the extreme realm have no hope of breaking through to the perfect controllers of the extreme realm. Just like the deep sea of the extreme realm, they have so many the perfect controller of the real realm. Why are there so few creatures who have broken through to the perfect controller of the extreme realm? It is that their Tao is not complete. In fact, they cannot be blamed for the limitations of such extreme creatures, and the pagoda of will is the inheritance of the practitioners. They obtained it, but they could not practice. I see. Yi Tian suddenly realized. He really thought that the pagoda of will was a supreme method created by the perfect controllers of the extreme realm. It turned out to be an inheritance from the original Black Armor Master. Lord of the Unbounded, what about the top 3 original ancestors? Yi Tian continued to ask for advice. The Unbounded Lord continued to speak. On top of the 3-level primordial ancestor is the 4th-level primordial ancestor. It is very difficult to achieve the 4th-level primordial ancestor. Not only does it require the pagoda of will to achieve the 36th level, but at least one needs to comprehend 9 kinds of the ultimate pole, and the creation of the original control skills. The original master skills also involve the power of the 9 extreme poles, so if you can't comprehend more than 9 extreme poles, you can't create the original master skills. I have never seen it. There is a big gap in strength between the ancestors who have passed the 4th level, even if they are the 3 levels great. As for the 5th-level ancestor and the 6th-level ancestor above the 4-level ancestor, I have only heard the name, and I haven't heard any related information, so don't ask me. I didn't expect that there are so many divisions at the level of the original ancestor. Yi Tian said in shock. Ha ha ha, I was shocked when I found out, but the Golden Body Lord and the Lord of the White Knight of the Realm of the World have the hope of succeeding in the 2nd-level ancestor. As for the 3rd-level ancestor, it would be difficult. It is not so easy to engrave the Tao on the pagoda of will, and it is many times more difficult than comprehending an extreme way. However, if you, Lord of Infinity, break through to become the original ancestor, you will soon become the 2nd original ancestor, and there is even hope become the original ancestor of the 3 layers, and have great hopes. The Unbounded Lord said. It's still very early, Yi Tian said modestly. Immediately, he was curious again. Unbounded, Lord, you, level. Me. The unbounded Lord smiled and said, I am lucky, I am the ancestor of the 3-layer. Unbounded Lord, those extreme creatures in the deep sea of the extreme path, they do not have a will pagoda, can they become the 3-level ancestor? Yi Tian asked curiously. The unbounded Lord nodded. There is also hope for the extreme creatures to become the triple ancestor, but it is many times more difficult than our practitioners, unless they can complete the bloodline transformation and transform into the original black beast. The Abyss Palace Master of the extreme deep sea will be he is trying to become a primordial black beast, but unfortunately he has no inheritance, he is just doing blind research and there is not much hope. Isn't the unbounded Lord able to easily kill the Abyss Palace Lord? Yi Tian was surprised. It is indeed possible to kill him, but it is not necessary. The unbounded Lord said, with the existence of extremist creatures, at least it can put pressure on the practitioners of the world. Otherwise, if there is no pressure, the infighting of the world will be impossible. Seriously, even if the genius of the evildoer is born, maybe he will die in the assassination, so I keep the polar creatures. The unbounded Lord is doing the right thing. Yi Tian agreed. At this moment, he thought that if those extremist creatures knew the truth, they would be terrified. They have always thought that they are superior to Jejia, and their strength is stronger than Jejia, and as a result, Jejia can destroy the polar creatures in the deep sea of the extreme realm at any time. The unbounded Lord said again, the endless Lord, the reason why I have introduced so much to you is mainly because I am optimistic about you. In the world, you are the only one who has a great hope of becoming the 3rd ancestor, and you can even become the 3rd original. The strongest among the ancestors. As for the original ancestor of the 4 layers, it is too difficult, I can't imagine it. If you become the ancestor of the 3 layers in the future, I hope you can send a clone to sit in the world for a long time. After all, the original domain is not careful if you are unlucky, it is still very dangerous to provoke the original black beast, just like the end of the 10-direction black domain. And I have a real body, it will not be long before I will leave, maybe I will not be able to come back for a long time in the future. If there is a 3-tiered ancestor sitting in the hometown, it will be much safer. If you don't say it, Lord of Unbounded, I will definitely send a clone to sit on the edge of the world. Yi Tian affirmed, Actually, there is another request. The unbounded Lord said, I hope you can go to a place to help me get a treasure, of course, wait for you to do it after you arrive at the 3rd ancestor. I dare not go, because I am a real body, if I fall, I will really fall. But if you have a clone, even if the clone falls, it will take a long time to condense it slowly, and the loss will not be too big. If you agree if you do, I can give you a method of engraving the extreme way. Without the method of engraving the extreme way, it is almost impossible for you to inscribe the extreme way on the will tower by yourself. The success rate is too low, almost 0. Moreover, what is given is the inscription method of the extreme space pole. You have comprehended the extreme space pole. If you have this method, you can use it to inscribe the extreme space pole on the will pagoda in the future, so as to hit the triple primitive realm. Yi Tian did not hesitate, and directly agreed, Unbounded Lord, I agree. Great, the unbounded Lord was very excited. Immediately, the unbounded Lord took out a black bead. This is a space pole inscription method, the void inscription technique, which can increase the success rate by 15%. This method can only be inherited with this kind of beads. And the number of inheritances is limited, you can only inherit it once, and there are 2 more times, I can't give it to you. It is good, Yi Tian nodded. Then, Yi Tian began to inherit the void inscription technique. Boom, countless mysterious and incomparable information poured into Yi Tian's will, and was gradually absorbed and digested by Yi Tian. After a long time, Yi Tian succeeded in inheriting the void inscription technique. After the inheritance, Yi Tian knew how difficult it was to inscribe the ultimate pole on the pagoda of will, and he couldn't try it casually, precious materials to repair. More importantly, if there are too many failures, it will affect the foundation of the pagoda of will. By Zhao Zhao. Therefore, the inscription method with a high success rate is naturally extremely precious. The void inscription technique can increase the success rate by 15%, which is actually 15%. After all, its own success rate is negligible. The success rate of 15% seems to be very low, but Yi Tian feels that this is definitely not low. If there are really high engraving methods, then the Lord of Unbounded will not say that the Lord of the golden body of the world, the Lord of the Unbounded, the Lord of the Ends has no hope of becoming the original triple ancestor. In addition, if the number of inscription failures is high, the success rate will also decrease. Therefore, the best first-time success. I didn't expect that it would be so difficult to become the original ancestor of the third layer, and the price of failure to inscribe it would be so great. Yi Tian said with emotion, Lord of the Unbounded, is there any treasure that increases the success rate of inscription of the ultimate extreme path? The Lord of Unbounded nodded. Of course there is, but it is too precious, and I can't get it. At the beginning, I also failed 6 times before I succeeded by luck. The reason why I say that you have a great hope to become the original ancestor of the threefold, it's because you condense the will tower in advance when you are in the super perfect controller realm, which will increase the success rate by 10%, and you understand the extreme space pole in advance before the original ancestor, which can increase the success rate by 10%. Then add 15% of the void inscription technique, that is a 35% success rate. A 35% success rate, even if the first inscription fails, the success rate is very high within 3 times. Basically, you only need to the luck is not too bad, there is more than 90% of the hope to become the triple ancestor in the future. The realm of the super perfect controller condenses the pagoda of will in advance, and the original ancestors comprehended the extreme extremes before, which can increase the success rate of engraving the extreme extremes. Yi Tian finally knows why the Unbounded Lord values him so much, because he is a genius. P.S. 4000. Chapter 2092 Yi Tian Breakthrough, the First Ancestor. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Yi Tian stayed with the Unbounded Lord for a long time before he left and returned to the boundary of the world. This time I have gained a lot. Not only did I get a lot of resources, but I also got the information about the realm of the original ancestor and the void inscription technique from the Lord of Unbounded. Yi Tian muttered. Of course, void inscription is a secret technique that is only needed to impact the triple primordial ancestor, and he doesn't need to practice it now. Right now, the most important thing for him is to comprehend that sect, to elevate various extremities to the perfect state, and then to master all kinds of extreme extremities. This time, he found a lot of treasures containing extreme extremes in the black domain of the 10 directions, all of which helped him to cultivate. Moreover, he found a lot of resources. It can be said that there is no shortage of resources for a long time. Then go all out to retreat and practice. Yi Tian decided. Time passed slowly, and Yi Tian, with the help of the poles, gradually raised all the poles to the perfect state. Then, Yi Tian began to copy all kinds of treasures containing extreme extremes, using these treasures to comprehend extremes, first comprehend a door to the perfect state, and then hit the extreme extremes. Gradually, Yi Tian mastered one extreme way after another. Time flies, and hundreds of billions of eternal years have passed without knowing it. At this moment, Yi Tian has mastered more than 30 kinds of extreme extremes, and more than 100 kinds of perfection realms. This is a realm that other ancestors can't imagine. If the Unbounded Lord knew that Yi Tian had mastered so many extreme extremes, he would definitely be dumbfounded. In these years, my practice has risen to the limit of being a perfect controller of the real world, and the will tower has also condensed to the 13th floor, and I can't continue to improve. Yi Tian secretly said. It can be said that he has now risen to the true limit of the perfect controller of the real world, and he cannot improve any further. Now, if he wants to improve his strength, he can only attack the realm of the perfect controller of the extreme realm, that is, the realm of the original ancestor. My endless pole Tao has completely entered the realm of perfection under the backfeeding of so many extreme poles and perfection poles, and I can break through. Yi Tian secretly said. The original Black Sea, inside the dojo. Yi Tian retreated and made breakthroughs here. The energy of the original Black Sea was the purest and most powerful energy, which was enough for him to quickly break through to the realm of the original ancestors. Soon, Yi Tian began to use the endless extremity of the perfection realm to promote his extremist body to transform and become the extremist of the extremity. Boom! CJFJ. The shackles were easily shattered by Yi Tian, and countless primordial Black Sea energies poured into Yi Tian's body, quickly helping him to complete the transformation of his body. With the passage of time, Yi Tian's aura is getting stronger and stronger, and the strength is getting stronger and stronger. After a long time, Yi Tian completely completed the breakthrough and became a first-level ancestor. After a long time, Yi Tian stabilized the realm of the original ancestor. Finally become the first-level ancestor, and I only need to improve my cultivation base to become the second-level ancestor. After all, if you want to become the second ancestor, you need to comprehend the extreme time and space, and Yi Tian has already comprehended, only the cultivation base has not yet reached. As for improving cultivation, it can be done with more resources and time. Moreover, once he became the second ancestor, he would definitely be almost invincible among the second ancestors, even no less than the weaker triple ancestor. After all, he has comprehended too many extremes, and his foundation is extremely strong, which is naturally not comparable to ordinary ancestors. No Way Tower. After Yi Tian's cloned body was re-replicated, he returned as a first-level ancestor. At this time, the Lord of No Dao was shocked one by one. Lord of Infinity, have you broken through? The Lord of Kangoo said in shock. This is too fast, and the Lord of Kangoo also knows that Yi Tian has always wanted to make breakthroughs with his own ultimate path, so this time he must have cultivated his own ultimate path to the perfect state. It is very difficult to break through after his own ultimate path is complete, but Yi Tian broke through so quickly, which was beyond his expectations. Congratulations to the Infinity Lord. Congratulations to the Infinity Lord. Congratulations to the Infinity Lord. 1. The Lord of Kangoo, the Lord of Wu Dao, the Lord of Sword Pole, and the Lord of Eternal Night congratulated each other. Breakthrough by chance, Yi Tian said modestly. The 4 pagoda masters smiled slightly, knowing that Yi Tian was humble. At this time, the Lord of No Dao curiously said, the Lord of Endless, you have broken through now, how about you and I have a contest? The Master of No Dao is also a belligerent. Yi Tian didn't break through before, he was naturally embarrassed to ask Yi Tian to learn from each other, but now that Yi Tian has broken through, he couldn't bear it any longer. No problem, Yi Tian nodded. However, he really doesn't feel that the Lord of Wu Dao is his opponent. If he really goes all out, he can instantly kill the Lord of Wu Dao with one move. After all, he has comprehended so many extreme ways, but the Master of No Way has not comprehended a single extreme way. Strictly speaking, the Master of No Way is not a first-level ancestor, but can only be regarded as a pseudo-prime ancestor. A borderline area, Yi Tian and the Lord of No Dao came here, ready to start their discussions. Lord of No Way, let's go, Yi Tian said. Immediately, the Lord of No Dao broke out a top extreme control technique, the Void Demon Hand. However, this blow hit Yi Tian directly. With a wave of Yi Tian's hand, he directly shattered the attack of the Wu Dao Lord. Next, the Lord of Wu Dao kept making shots, but he couldn't help Yi Tian. Yi Tian stopped the attack of the Lord of Wu Dao lightly. Infinity Lord, attack me, don't keep defending, said the Lord of No Way. All right, Yi Tian unleashed his extremely bright sword light and slashed away with one sword. This sword is too fast, and it is beyond the understanding of the ignorant master. Before he could react, one of his arms dissipated, and the nearby void was directly annihilated. If it wasn't for Yi Tian's mercy, his will clone would have perished directly. The Lord of No Dao was stunned. The Lord of Kangoo and the others were also stunned. Yi Tian had only broken through to the realm of the perfect controller of the extreme realm. It was so terrifying that he already possessed the strength to instantly kill the Lord of No Dao. Yi Tian, have you comprehended the extreme way? Asked the Lord of No Dao. Yes, Yi Tian nodded. Several pagoda masters took a deep breath. Yi Tian actually understood the extreme way. The Lord of Kangoo revealed his clear body, and he actually had some guesses, because Yi Tian had let him trade various treasures containing the extremes. If he did not understand the extremes, why would he not want those treasures? But he never asked, he didn't expect Yi Tian to really comprehend the extreme way. Chapter 2093 mixed into the high level of the Jadao Deep Sea Palace. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the Endless Lord, with your current strength, I am afraid that you are in the top ranks of the world. The Lord of No Dao, they congratulated them one after another. Soon, they returned to the Wu Dao Tower. At this time, Yi Tian took out some resources, including some coal tablets, which were not needed by Yi Tian and were repeated, as well as some fragments of coal tablets. Moreover, Yi Tian also took out a lot of resources, all of which are enough for the perfect master of the extreme realm, that is, the original ancestors to ignore. Lord of Endless, where did you get so many coal tablets and resources? The Infinity Lord was shocked. The key is that Yi Tian obtained so many resources, and even took them out to Wu Dao Pagoda. It's a resource obtained from the 10 Directions Black Domain. Yi Tian explained. 10 Fang Black Domain, where is this? The Lord of No Dao, they are stunned, they have never heard of it, ah. Yi Tian explained. The 10 Directions Black Territory is a place of the same level as Jajia, it is an original realm, and the place where Jajia and Jadao Deep Sea are located is an original realm. What, beyond the boundaries of the world, is there an equal world? How did you find it? They were extremely shocked. Immediately, Yi Tian talked about his pursuit of the Lord of Biming. The Lord of Kangoo said in surprise, "Lord of Endless, you are following the Lord of Biming, but he didn't find it." Yi Tian smiled and said, "I have understood the extreme time and space, and the Lord of the Northern Underworld will naturally not be able to find me, and after entering the 10 Directions Black Domain, I secretly collected a lot of resources and they can't stay in the 10 Directions Black Domain for a long time. I have to leave after a while, but I can stay there all the time, so many good things in the Black Domain of the 10 Directions have been scraped by me. If it is not discovered by the Unbounded Lord, maybe I will directly scrape it there, empty. I envy you for being able to enter the original Black Sea." The Lord of Swords said. The Lord of Kangoo said, "Jadao Junhee is really lucky to have the support of the Unbounded Lord, otherwise, the Jadao Junhee would not be able to become the first eternal world. The Unbounded Lord was born in the Jadao Junhee, and people will naturally help the Jadao Junhee, so even if he discovers the 10 Directions Black Domain, it will be left to the Jadao Junhee. But the Unbounded Lord has a good temperament, and the Endless Lord sneaked into the very dark domain. He has scraped so many treasures, and he has not pursued it," said the Master of No Way. Yi Tian understands the Unbounded Lord very well, just like he is a human race, and he also left many good things to the human race. Even if there are no strong people in the human race, he still keeps those treasures as the heritage of the human race, and he is not willing to give them all to the Wu Dao Pagoda. In the future, if the Sea of Origin realm develops, he will also vigorously cultivate the Sea of Origin realm, along with the Wu Dao Pagoda. As for the Eternal Ruins, he will not take care of it. And the Unbounded Lord also thinks like this, so he will not help the practitioners of other eternal worlds. If Yi Tian's potential is too great, and the future will help the Unbounded Lord, otherwise the Unbounded Lord will not be so polite to him. After Yi Tian left some resources in the Wu Dao Pagoda, he continued to retreat and practice. Although he became a first-level ancestor, his cultivation has not yet reached the current limit, so he began to use a lot of resources to improve his cultivation, and the will of the extreme way in the body of the original ancestor became stronger and stronger. Of course, it is not so easy to raise the cultivation base to the limit of the first-level ancestor, and the resources and time required are very long. If he hadn't found enough resources in the 10 Directions Black Territory this time, he wouldn't have enough resources to raise his cultivation to the limit of the first-level ancestor. When he was improving his cultivation, Yi Tian was also comprehending the Ultimate Dao. He still had a lot of Ultimate Dao in the entry-level realm and still needed to be promoted to the Perfection realm. Only when thousands of poles have been elevated to the Perfection realm, and many poles have been elevated to the Ultimate realm, will his endless poles hope to become the Ultimate realm in the future. Time flies, and hundreds of billions of eternal years have passed. Yi Tian almost exhausted most of the resources on his body, and only then did he raise his cultivation to the limit of the first-level ancestor. Just after the cultivation base reached the ultimate realm, the extreme time and space pole echoed with the body of the original ancestor, as if breaking some kind of shackles. The endless energy of the original Black Sea poured into Yi Tian's body, helping him step into the second ancestor realm. It turns out that this is the breakthrough to the realm of the second ancestor. Yi Tian muttered. After a long time, Yi Tian's cultivation base has completely stabilized in the realm of the second-level ancestor. The second-level ancestor is much stronger than the first-level ancestor, and Yi Tian has learned so many extremes, his current strength is no less than the weaker third-level ancestor. Of course, he is still a long way from the triple primordial ancestor, so he must first raise his cultivation base to the limit of the second primordial ancestor, and then inscribe the ultimate pole on the Pagoda of Will. Katakana middle dot for flowers. This day, a piece of news came to Yi Tian. Another eternal world of Blacktooth Land in the world of the world would lead the energy of the original Black Sea into the Blacktooth Land, so as to transform the Blacktooth Land. Obviously, the land of Black Teeth was traded with Jadao Junhee, and he paid a great price to buy the arrangement of the magic circle from Jadao Junhee. But this time, Yi Tian is not interested in helping. Anyway, there are so many pseudo-primitive ancestors in Jazia, and there is no shortage of him. Another period of time has passed, and other eternal places have successively built magic circles to draw in the energy of the original Black Sea. On this day, the many pseudo-primitive ancestors of the eternal ruins discussed and decided to negotiate with several primordial ancestors such as the Master of the Golden Body and the Master of the White Knight, and to obtain the arrangement of the magic circle. 0. Yi Tian didn't participate, but knew about it. After that, the 9 top forces of the Eternal Ruins paid a great price to purchase the method of arrangement of the array, and then began to spend countless resources to start the arrangement. Afterwards, Yi Tian also went to help. It can be said that this arrangement has made the major forces of the eternal ruins poor. But in the end, the ruins of eternity attracted the energy of the original Black Sea, transformed the ruins of eternity, and gave birth to the power of the extreme way. In the future, some resources of the extreme way will be born one after another. In the long run, they will naturally make money. Extremely deep sea. Yi Tian's golden-winged pung bird cloned body has also grown to the realm of the perfect controller of the extreme realm, that is, the first-level original ancestor. Since he did not spend resources to improve the cultivation of this body, he cannot become the second-level original ancestor for the time being. Yi Tian originally wanted to give up this body, but now he has reached the high level of the deep sea of the extreme way and entered the deep sea palace of the extreme way, so it is a pity. Moreover, Yi Tian is not in a hurry to occupy the copy body for the time being, so this copy body has been staying here. This day, Yi Tian revealed that after comprehending the extreme way of gold, he finally entered the core layer of the deep sea palace of the extreme way, and learned a big secret of the deep sea of the extreme way. Knowing this secret, Yi Tian was really shocked. Because of this secret, the unbounded Lord might not even know about it. Corpse. Chapter 2094 The original Jodian map, an amazing treasure. Open black lens bracket full order close black lens bracket. The Lord of Golden Wings, this is the biggest secret of our Jadao Deep Sea Palace. The Blood Saint Palace Master brought Yi Tian to a mysterious place and said with a smile. This is. Yi Tian saw an ancient bell, which contained an incomparably terrifying aura, and there were 365 mysterious black characters on the bell. Every black character seemed to contain a kind of extreme the breath of Tao. This is a primordial magic weapon, and it is the top primordial magic weapon. The Blood Holy Palace Master said. Lord of the Golden Wings, you may not understand what the primordial divine weapon is. It is a weapon that surpasses the extreme treasures. The Blood Saint Palace Master introduced a lot to Yi Tian. In fact, Yi Tian knew the original magic weapon, but pretended not to know the 093 Sun. After introducing the original divine weapon, the Blood Saint Palace Master said again, actually, the real value is not this original divine weapon, but the secret method inscribed on this original divine weapon, the original Jodian map. This secret method it is extremely mysterious. So far, no palace master has fully understood it, but a little understanding of something will be of great benefit to our understanding of the extremes. Moreover, we found that once we understand one of the words, we will come up with a secret method, through which this kind of text is integrated into the body, which can break the limits of blood and flesh. For example, the Palace Master of the Abyss, he has already understood 7 words, and the flesh is far beyond our imagination. Of course, also do not comprehend indiscriminately. At present, according to our requirements, these 9 black characters are most suitable for newcomers to comprehend. Once they are all comprehended, they can form the original small Jodian map. Once it is truly achieved, and if you comprehend the extreme time and space, then it is enough to compare with the triple original ancestor. Afterwards, the Blood Saint Palace Master described the division of the original ancestors to Yi Tian. After listening to it, Yi Tian had to sigh. The unbounded Lord's understanding of the deep sea of the extreme way is too one-sided. When the original Black Armor Master fell to the end of the world, although the cultivator has obtained inheritance and gained a lot of benefits, the benefits of the deep sea of the extreme way are also many. For example, this original divine weapon, plus the 365 black characters on it, definitely surpassed Yi Tian's previous knowledge. Moreover, the Lord of Unbounded also said that there is no hope of breaking through the deep sea of the extreme way to become the 3-layer original ancestor, unless it is transformed into the original black beast. It seems that the knowledge is not high. After all, according to the statement of Jidao Deep Sea, if you understand the 9 black characters and accommodate your own body, you can transform your bloodline so as to be comparable to the 3 original ancestors. One can imagine how terrifying his strength would be once he understood all the 365 words, and perhaps it would be comparable to the 4-fold primitive ancestor. A surprise, if there is a chance in the future, I will take this thing away. 1. Yi Tian secretly said, but at the moment, he took this treasure away, so many palace masters in the deep sea of Jadao have arranged countless magic circles here, and even blocked the induction of the original Black Sea. That is to say, from the original Black Sea, you can't enter here, and you can only enter from a specific entrance. The Lord of Golden Wings, as long as he understands the extreme way and becomes the 1st-level primitive ancestor, he can be qualified to enter here. It is a pity that so many perfect controllers of extreme realms in the deep sea of extreme extremes can only be regarded as pseudo-primitive ancestors, first-level primitive ancestors. There are too few ancestors. The Blood Saint Palace Master sighed. For them, only the first-level primitive ancestors are qualified to cultivate, and the pseudo-primitive ancestors are too weak to be valued by them, nor can they be on an equal footing with them. Certainly, even the new Jin Yuanzu would have to study for a long time to be eligible to enter here. And Yi Tian, the golden-winged pung bird, has a clean body and is also the direct disciple of the Ice and Snow Palace Master, so his identity is no problem, so he was allowed to enter here and learn the biggest secret of the Deep Sea Palace. If they knew that the Lord of Golden Wings was Yi Tian's duplicate body, they would be absolutely dumbfounded. In the days that followed, Yi Tian, the cloned body, comprehended the 365 black words here. After a period of time, Yi Tian had a general understanding. Each of these black words can be regarded as a combination of inscription and extreme extremes. For example, this black text represents the combination of extreme space extremes and a kind of inscription similar to the void. If you understand this, black words can be directly engraved on the pagoda of will. 365 black texts represent 365 poles. If there are 365 layers of will pagodas, each layer of will the pagodas are all condensed with a black text, how powerful it should be. Yi Tian thought to himself. Of course, he is too far away from this realm. Although void inscription is good, it can't compare to this kind of black text. In my opinion, this kind of black text should increase the success rate of inscription by 30%. In my case, it is 50%. The increase should be bigger. Yi Tian secretly said. More importantly, these 365 black characters are one body, and the void inscription technique is only a secret technique that can only be used to inscribe the extreme space extremes. If you want to inscribe other extreme extremes in the future, you will have to find other inscription techniques again, and there is no connection between these inscription techniques, which is very messy. How can such a systematic secret technique be so powerful? The luck of the deep sea is too powerful, and they have obtained such a secret technique. If those three ancestors knew that there was such a treasure here, they would definitely destroy the deep sea and snatch this treasure. Yi Tian thought to himself. Moreover, according to the information he knew, the original master of the original black armor was definitely not an ordinary triple ancestor. Even so, the entire Jejia paid a lot of pseudo-primitive ancestors and the lives of many second-level ancestors, and only 5.9 tried desperately for this triple-level ancestor who was severely injured. So, why did the other party get hit hard? Could it be because of this big bell? It's very possible. Fortunately, the original Black Sea is inconvenient to track, and the original master of the original black armor is dead, otherwise this place would have been exposed. Yi Tian secretly said. In the years that followed, Yi Tian devoted all his efforts to comprehend the black text representing the extreme space extreme. If he understood it thoroughly, he would be able to use this text to inscribe it on the pagoda of will. Shock the realm of the triple original ancestor. Comparatively speaking, practitioners only need to successfully engrave one kind of extreme path in the pagoda of will, while the extreme path creatures need to integrate 9 kinds of characters, which is much more difficult. However, this is a racial restriction that is difficult to change. Chapter 2095 Enter in Advance. Seeking Full Order. Time passed slowly, and Yi Tian gradually came to understand the black words representing space. It can be said that if there is an ancestral gift of extreme Taoism, the speed of comprehension will be very fast. However, some polar creatures have at most 1 or 2 polar ancestors, so only 1 or 2 corresponding black characters can be understood much faster, and the speed of comprehending other black characters is much slower. After a long time, Yi Tian succeeded in fully comprehending the black words representing space, and then began to comprehend the black words representing time. Although he still can't inscribe black words on the pagoda of will, but now that he understands it, he can inscribe it directly in the future. The value of this original magic weapon is too high, I really want to grab it directly. Yi Tian muttered, but when I think that if I snatch this original divine weapon, I will definitely fight against these palace masters of the Jadao Deep Sea Palace, then it will be exposed and the unbounded lord will know. Moreover, the knowledge of the unbounded lord must be higher than his. When he recognizes this thing, he will definitely turn his face against him, and even rob him at all costs. Therefore, he still dismissed this idea, and when his strength has risen to far surpass that of the unbounded lord, he will take this treasure away at that time. Anyway, he can comprehend and practice here now, there is no need to rush to take away this original magic weapon. In the following years, Yi Tian traded some treasures that he didn't need, such as the treasures containing extreme extremes, in exchange for the resources he needed, thereby improving his cultivation. Moreover, the resources obtained from the deep sea of the extreme way were also secretly sent to Jia and given to their own body to practice. But even so, Yi Tian's cultivation base is still slow to improve, and it will take a long time to improve to the limit of the second layer primordial ancestor. It's too difficult to upgrade from the early stage of the second layer primordial ancestor to the limit. If there are no incomparably precious resources, the time spent is probably in trillions. Yi Tian secretly said. He felt that it would take him too long to cultivate to the limit of the second level primordial ancestor if he continued to cultivate in a step-by-step manner. At the beginning, the unbounded Lord was able to be promoted to the third original ancestor, but it was not promoted in the boundary of the world, but went to the original Black Sea, and had the opportunity to be promoted to this realm. Yi Tian didn't think about the more expansive original realm in the past, but the unbounded Lord didn't reveal any news, obviously because he was worried that the treasure land was leaked by Yi Tian. Therefore, Yi Tian can't help the unbounded Lord to take away the treasure in that treasure land, he will not reveal any news. This day, Yi Tian decided to go to the unbounded Lord. He wanted to go to that treasure land in advance to help the unbounded Lord find treasures. Soon, Yi Tian contacted the unbounded Lord and saw him. Unbounded Lord, can I go to that treasure land now and take out the treasure you need? Yi Tian asked. The unbounded Lord frowned. Lord of the Endless, you haven't reached the third level ancestor now. If you don't reach the third level ancestor, you will surely die. And even if you reach the third level ancestor, the possibility of falling is very high. This is something I don't dare to do. Past reasons. I just want to try it out and see how dangerous that treasure land is, that's all. Knowing the gap, you can work harder to improve your strength. Yi Tian said. The unbounded Lord pondered for a while, and finally agreed. Okay, I'll take you there. The unbounded Lord quickly took Yi Tian to shuttle to a positioning point, and then shuttled for a distance, and then came to a certain area of the original Black Sea. There is nothing here, but Yi Tian sensed a special time and space fluctuation. This is it. As long as you understand the extreme time and space, you can enter. This treasure land is not the original realm, but it is extremely dangerous. There are some very terrifying creatures in it, and they are very suppressing our strength. Lord of Endless, you have realized after reaching the limit of time and space, and cultivating hundreds of trillions of eternal years, you should be able to improve to the limit of the second-level primitive ancestor. This time is not long, just wait, I am not in a hurry. Hundreds of trillions of eternity years are not long. Yi Tian was speechless, but didn't say anything. For the unbounded Lord, this time is not long, but he thinks it is very long. And, Yi Tian doesn't want to delay for such a long time. Who knows what will happen in the future, so he can improve his strength as soon as possible to have the strength to protect himself and his family. If there is another incident of the original Black Sea creatures invading the boundary of the world, such as the appearance of an extremely terrifying threefold original ancestor of the original Black Beast, even the unbounded Lord can't stop it, who will it be? Therefore, your own strength is the greatest guarantee. Lord of Endless, it's here, the treasure I need is this, if you are really lucky to find it, give it to me. The Lord of Unbounded waved his hand, and a phantom of a treasure appeared. This is a 9-color golden lotus, and each petal is engraved with an extreme aura. Its name is Juji Jinlian. Remember, if you really find it and want to pick it, you can't use your hands or other energy, it's useless, you must use the power of the extreme coal to pick it, and after picking, use the limit only when the power of the extreme way wraps it can it not wither. The Unbounded Lord reminded. Immediately, the unbounded Lord gave Yi Tian another piece of information, but there was not much information. Because the unbounded Lord has only entered for a while, so he doesn't know what he understands. He only senses the breath of the Juji Golden Lotus, so it is determined that there is a Juji Golden Lotus in it. Then, the unbounded Lord left. Because he confirmed that Yeo 93 Tian could not obtain the Juji Jinlian, and after entering, he would die soon, wasting a willpower clone. After the unbounded Lord left, Yi Tian did not hesitate and immediately escaped into it. Boom! As soon as he came in, the power of this piece of heaven and earth was suppressing Yi Tian, although it would not exclude him, it limited most of his strength. Unexpected, a monster with countless tentacles appeared and attacked him. Seeing this, Yi Tian burst into strength with all his strength. The power of all kinds of extremes erupted from Yi Tian's body, the body of the original ancestor also burst out, and all kinds of top extreme control skills were also displayed by Yi Tian one by one. Boom, Yi Tian kept fighting with this monster, and soon attracted other monsters. The monsters here can be said that the weakest have the strength beyond the second ancestor, and some have reached the realm of the third ancestor. Soon, Yi Tian was hit hard. However, Yi Tian did not withdraw, but forcibly broke the blockade and continued to go deeper, brother. It didn't take long for Yi Tian's will clone to perish under the attack of many creatures. Therefore, Yi Tian continued to send a duplicate body into the investigation. In this way, one after another, the bodies of the replicas fell and replicated, gradually allowing Yi Tian to understand a lot about this treasure. Even the unbounded lord did not know much as he did. Chapter 2096 Breakthrough, Triple Original Ancestor. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. As expected of a treasure land, there are a lot of resources here, and I don't even know a lot of resources and treasures. 1. Yi Tian secretly said, if these resources are taken away, his cultivation will be improved very fast. In addition, he also found the Juji Golden Lotus, but the Juji Golden Lotus was guarded by more than a dozen creatures comparable to the triple primitive ancestor. He could not take the Juji Golden Lotus, unless his strength could be improved to the realm of the triple primitive ancestor, then he could easily take away the 9-pole Golden Lotus. Let's not rush to get the Juji Jinlian, I don't need this stuff either. I'll take away the resources of that treasure land little by little and use it to improve my strength. Yi Tian decided. In the following years, Yi Tian often went to ask the Unbounded Lord for advice, and obtained a lot of treasure illustrations and information from the Unbounded Lord. This has a huge effect on identifying treasures and can save time in research. But as to what the role of the Juji Jinlian is, Yi Tian is still unclear, unless he can deduce the role of the Juji Jinlian unless he can practice the deduction to the extreme level. Yi Tian dragged the severely injured body out of the treasure land, and as a result, several terrifying creatures rushed out of the treasure land and caught up with Yi Tian. Another copy of Yi Tian's body appeared, dragging these creatures, and this caused the severely injured copy body to escape. The reason for doing this is naturally to keep the captured resources. Soon after, these creatures were repelled by the original Black Sea and returned to the treasure land. It can be said that no matter what species it is, if it does not understand the extreme time and space, it will not be able to stay in the original Black Sea forever. Of course, if the number of extreme poles comprehended is large enough, they will stay in the original Black Sea almost infinitely. But the creatures in this treasure land only contain one kind of extreme, but their race is special, so their strength is comparable to that of the 3 ancestors, so they can only stay in the original Black Sea for a few minutes. Success! Pipe exclamation mark. The fruit without inflammation can greatly improve the cultivation of the 2nd level primordial ancestor, and has a weak effect on the 3rd level primordial ancestor. The golden phoenix has no grass, can enhance the will of the 2nd level primordial ancestor, and also has an effect on the 3rd level primordial ancestor. Black feather stone can be used to create the original magic weapon. Treasures appeared in Yi Tian's hands, and this time the harvest was very good. Immediately, Yi Tian took out the treasures that could improve his cultivation and took them one by one. Boom! Yi Tian's cultivation has improved rapidly, far exceeding the speed of his previous cultivation. When the treasures obtained were exhausted, Yi Tian entered the treasure land again, but this time, he was unlucky, surrounded by more powerful creatures, did not escape in time, and perished in the treasure land. In this way, Yi Tian tried again and again, and the treasures he obtained became more and more, and his cultivation base naturally became higher and higher. The Unbounded Lord did not think that Yi Tian, who was the 2nd level ancestor, could still capture treasures in that treasure land, and dared to enter it again and again. After all, even if it is a double ancestor who has a clone of will, it will take a long time to recover if it loses a clone once, and if it dies too many times, it will also affect the foundation of will. But these rules are not suitable for Yi Tian at all. Even if Yi Tian's duplicate body dies again and again, it will not have any effect. After a long period of time, Yi Tian's cultivation has finally reached the limit of the 2nd level ancestor after only 60 billion eternity years under the accumulation of treasures. At this time, he felt the existence of a bottleneck, and he only needed to inscribe the extreme space pole on the pagoda of will, and then he could hit the realm of the 3 ancestors. The 21st floor will pagoda. First engrave the black text representing the extreme space pole on the 1st floor will pagoda. Yi Tian decided. He made a breakthrough in the dojo of the original Black Sea without telling anyone, and naturally he did not want to be known by the Unbounded Lord. Layers of will pagodas appeared on Yi Tian's body, as if covering this area. Start engraving. Yi Tian decided. This black word is equivalent to containing a kind of inscription, and Yi Tian has already realized it. Boom. Under the control of Yi Tian, the power of the extreme space pole began to be engraved on the first layer of the will pagoda. He has a 50% success rate, and even if he fails the first time, it won't have much impact. Time passed slowly and everything went smoothly. Just when it was about to be inscribed successfully, the black text suddenly clashed with the pagoda of will. Click. The pagoda of will is cracked. Failed. Yi Tian muttered. If it was someone else, I'm afraid it would take a long time to repair the cracks in the pagoda of will, or buy extremely precious treasures to repair the cracks. Of course, it is also possible to ignore it and continue to make breakthroughs, but the success rate is lower, and once the inscription fails, the cracks will be bigger, and it may even lead to the destruction of the foundation of the will pagoda. At that time, it will never be able to break through to the realm of the three original ancestors. I don't need a fix. Yi Tian directly annihilated this duplicate body, and then reduplicated a duplicate body. This willful pagoda that replicates the body is intact, and he can continue to attack the realm of the triple primitive ancestor. Success rate doesn't make sense to me. Yi Tian muttered. But the reason why he still wanted the void inscription technique was not for himself, but for the human race. The void inscription technique can be used as the foundation of the human race. Afterwards, Yi Tian continued to inscribe the Shi space black text on the will pagoda. This time, Yi Tian's luck was not so bad, and it was directly engraved into good promise merit. After all, the 50% success rate, if it fails twice, it would be too unlucky, especially. After the inscription is successful, the black text is integrated into the first layer of the will pagoda. Boom! The pagoda of will began to transform, becoming more tenacious and powerful, and Yi Tian's extreme will is also skyrocketing, and the body of the original ancestor also began to transform. His shackles have disappeared, and his cultivation base is rapidly improving, frantically devouring the energy of the original Black Sea. Long years have passed. Yi Tian swallowed the massive amount of primordial Black Sea energy, and finally stabilized the cultivation base in the triple primordial realm. Continue to inscribe the words representing the extreme way of time. Yi Tian decided. After all, the triple primordial ancestor can inscribe 9 extreme extremes, and there are more than 9 extreme extremes that he comprehends. Furthermore, the other 3 ancestors were not afraid of the failure of the inscription, and he was not afraid, so he continued to inscribe it directly. Chapter 2097 6 Black Words, Soaring Strength. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. This time, Yi Tian's luck was better, and he successfully engraved the black text representing the extreme time pole on the will pagoda. With the success of the engraving of this black text, the pagoda of will has been strengthened again, and the pagoda of will has fed back to the physical body, which has also strengthened Yi Tian's physical body and improved the body of the original ancestor. I have comprehended a total of 6 black characters, and I have engraved them all first. Yi Tian decided. In the following years, he tried again and again, with success and failure, and it took a long time for him to represent the 4 extreme swords, the extreme sword, the extreme light, the extreme defense and the extreme gold. A black text is engraved on the pagoda of will. As a result, all the first 6 floors of the pagoda of his will were inscribed with black words, and his strength soared many times. Under normal circumstances, the triple primordial ancestor has engraved 9 extreme extremes, and then comprehends the primal control skills. The cultivation base reaches the limit of the triple primordial ancestor, and the will pagoda reaches the 36th floor or more, and can break through to the quadruple primordial ancestor. Therefore, Yi Tian has now engraved the 6 extreme extremes. Even if the cultivation base has not improved, his strength is definitely at the top level among the 3 original ancestors. After all, Yi Tian's background is too strong, and the combat power of the same rank is invincible. Even if he reaches the 3rd ancestor, these 093 advantages naturally exist. I don't know who is stronger than the unbounded lord with my current strength. Yi Tian muttered. He felt that the unbounded lord should not be so powerful, otherwise he would not dare to enter that treasure land. Therefore, his strength is likely to have surpassed the unbounded lord. Because of the breakthrough just now, Yi Tian's extreme will increased a lot, so he condensed the will pagoda a few more layers, condensing from the 21st will pagoda to the 12-9 level will pagoda in one breath. At this time, the current limit has been reached, and it is necessary to continue to improve the will of the extreme way, in order to continue to condense the layers of the will pagoda. After arriving at the triple primordial ancestor, many of Yi Tian's resources were of little use, and the effect of improving his cultivation was too low and too low. At this time, Yi Tian finally understood why the Unbounded Lord was not interested in the resources of the 10 Directions Black Territory, so those resources were too low-end and had little effect on the 3-layer ancestors. Even if all those resources were taken away, the improvement effect might be it is better to absorb the energy of the original Black Sea. There are a lot of resources in this treasure land, and there are many treasures that have effects on the triple ancestor. With my current strength, I should be able to easily take away the resources there. Yi Tian muttered. So, Yi Tian came to this treasure land again. Inside the treasure, Yi Tian escaped in, and the terrifying creatures that let him escape in the past can no longer threaten him at this moment. Boom! Yi Tian used his top extreme control skills, extremely radiant sword light, to smash the bodies of terrifying creatures, and with just a few moves, he smashed a creature that was comparable to the triple primitive ancestor. Soon, each resource treasure was captured by Yi Tian. Afterwards, all of these resources that can be used to improve cultivation were refined by him one by one, and used to improve cultivation. It is a pity that the grade of these resources is not too high, even if some can improve the cultivation of the triple primitive ancestor, but the effect is not good, even if they are all refined. Don't even think about raising the limit of the triple primitive ancestor. Of course, Yi Tian doesn't care either, as long as he can improve his strength a little, that's fine. The long years passed slowly, this treasure land was almost cleared by Yi Tian, and many creatures died in Yi Tian's hands one by one. Of course, Yi Tian has also encountered crises many times. These creatures are also wise. After discovering that Yi Tian's strength is very strong, many creatures comparable to the 3-level ancestor joined forces to kill Yi Tian. That time, Yi Tian really almost fell. Of course, even if it really fell, it wouldn't have much impact, and it would be enough to reproduce it, but it would take a lot of resources to reproduce the cloned body of the triple original ancestor. This day, Yi Tian dispatched 3 bodies, 2 duplicate bodies, and 1 CJFJ will clone to enter the treasure land. This time, he was going to take the Juji Golden Lotus. And the Juji Golden Lotus should also be the most precious treasure in this treasure land, and also the treasure Yi Tian promised to capture for the Unbounded Lord. And in order to capture the Juji Golden Lotus, Yi Tian used a duplicate body to inflict heavy damage, successfully took it away, and beheaded 13 creatures that were comparable to the original 3-level ancestor. Almost all the resources of this treasure land have been robbed by me, and the value is not high. Yi Tian left directly, and it is unlikely that he will come in the future. Maybe new resources will be born here in the future, but at that time, his strength has risen to the point where he can't look down on this place. The Infinity Lord is looking for me. The Unbounded Lord thought that Yi Tian was here to ask for advice again. After seeing Yi Tian, the Unbounded Lord, he knew that Yi Tian had actually broken through to the 3rd-level ancestor. Congratulations to the Infinity Lord for stepping into the realm of the 3 original ancestors. The Unbounded Lord was a little surprised. In his opinion, even if Yi Tian has risen to the limit of the 2nd ancestor, if he wants to use the void inscription technique to inscribe the extreme space pole in the Will Pagoda, the success rate is only 35% chance. 35% may seem like a lot, but the first failure is more likely. Once it fails and the Will Pagoda is damaged, it will take a long time to repair the Will Pagoda, and that time can be measured in trillions of eternity years. Of course, you can continue to inscribe, but the success rate is lower, and it will damage the foundation, and no one dares to do so. There is no resource treasure to repair the Will Pagoda on the side of Jajia, and it can only be repaired slowly by itself. Therefore, he never expected Yi Tian to be able to become the 3rd ancestor in a short period of time, and his existence can wait forever, so he is not in a hurry. But now Yi Tian has made a breakthrough and has become the 3rd ancestor. What does this mean? The Lord of Endless is too lucky. With a 35% chance, he will succeed the first time. The Unbounded Lord's secret path. Unbounded Lord, I am lucky, I broke through once. Yi Tian said with a smile. Soon, Yi Tian got to the point. I saw that Yi Tian took out the Juji Golden Lotus, but did not immediately give it to the Unbounded Lord. Seeing the Golden Lotus, the Realm Master was not excited, so he immediately grabbed it with hatred, but paid it back. Lord of Endless, I didn't expect that you have already picked up the Juji Golden Lotus, can you give it to me? The Lord of Unbounded said. Yi Tian said. Unbounded Lord, I promised to help you before, so Juji Jinlian can give you, but at least it has some benefits. I want to jump out of the circle of the world, so you must share a lot of information you know. Give me, I need a wider world. $7. The Unbounded Lord agreed. Chapter 2098 Higher Original Domain. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Soon, the unbounded Lord gave Yi Tian a lot of secret knowledge and a map. Lord of the Endless, I told you before that the boundary of the boundary and the black domain of the 10 directions belong to one original domain, and the original Black Sea is the end of time and space of many original domains. There are 3 levels in total, the original realm and the high-level original realm. Strictly speaking, the original realm we are in can be called the deep sea original realm, which is not bad among the elementary original realm. Some weaker primary origins may only have pseudo-primitives, not even a first-level primordial ancestor, or only a few primordial ancestors. And in any middle original region, there are more than 103 level ancestors alone, and most of them have a 4-level original ancestor. What about the high plains? Yi Tian asked casually. In the high plains, even the original ancestors do not know how many, and it is difficult to count. Only by becoming the 4th-level original ancestor can you become a party's overlord, and the 5th-level original ancestor is the real top powerhouse. The map I gave you, it records the information of a high-level original domain, Shengling Yuan Yuan. The Unbounded Lord. Yi Tian took a look at the map, the will of the extreme way was integrated into it, and a lot of information was integrated into his will, and he was browsed and accepted one by one. This information includes the positioning coordinates of a dozen or so middle regions, and the positioning coordinates of the spiritual regions on the higher regions. If there is no positioning coordinates, then I don't know how many years in the original Black Sea will I be lucky to perceive the time and space fluctuations of an original domain, so as to find that original domain. Lord of the Endless, remember, even if you go to another original domain, you must not reveal the location coordinates of your original domain, and don't be tracked by other powerhouses. You must spare some places and come back, otherwise once we are here, if the location is exposed, maybe it will be enslaved by some forces. After all, the primary domain is too weak to resist any major forces in the higher domain. The Unbounded Lord reminded. Unbounded Lord, I understand. Yi Tian nodded. And among the many information materials given by the Lord of Unbounded, there is also information about the original realm of the upper spirit, as well as information about other middle realms. Not only that, there are many secret materials and many secrets and so on. It can be said that these information materials can make Yi Tian avoid many detours in the future. More importantly, he can go to the high plains to develop, which is the most important thing. Of course, he won't go now. After his strength has improved a lot, he will consider going to that high plains. Lord of the Unbounded, I will give you this 9-pole golden lotus. Yi Tian moved the Juji Jinlian with the power of the extreme extreme, and was caught by the Unbounded Master with the power of the extreme extreme. At this time, Yi Tian asked, Unbounded Lord, can you talk about the role of the Juji Jinlian now? The Unbounded Lord put away the Juji Golden Lotus, and then revealed, okay, I said it, but you don't want to snatch it back. The Juji Golden Lotus has a total of 18 petals and 9 lotus seeds, of which lotus seeds can heal. The crack in the pagoda of will. I failed to engrave the extreme pole before, and the pagoda of will cracked, so I need lotus seeds to repair the pagoda of will. And the petals can make the triple ancestor comprehend the extreme pole. Of course, how many kinds of extremes can be realized? Extreme Tao, then it depends on luck. But if you can cultivate to the existence of the triple primitive ancestor, your understanding will not be too bad, and almost everyone can comprehend 1 or 2 extreme ways. I told you before, I think one of the conditions for becoming a quadruple ancestor is to engrave 9 extremes on the pagoda of will. However, how difficult it is to comprehend the extremes, and some triple primitive ancestors can no longer comprehend the 8 extremes. Out of the 9th extreme pole. Under such circumstances, the 9-pole golden lotus can play a huge role. So it is. Yi Tian understood, Unbounded Lord, in this way, I am at a loss. The Unbounded Lord smiled and said, The Endless Lord, you have nothing to lose. I told you about that treasure land, and you should have obtained other resources. Besides, if I don't give those middle-level and high-level regions the coordinates of the original domain, if you are a little unlucky, you are afraid that you will be trapped in this area of the border forever. Of course, he only used one piece of information to exchange for Juji Jinlian, and he naturally made more money. Lord of the Unbounded, I will not snatch the Juji Golden Lotus, this cooperation will end here. Yi Tian said goodbye. Then, Yi Tian left. And the Unbounded Lord waved his hand and let the dojo begin to escape, constantly traveling in the original Black Sea. In the future, Yi Tian will never be able to come here again. For flowers. Ha ha ha, Juji Jinlian, with this treasure, I can not only repair the damage of the will pagoda, but also understand at least two extremes. In the future, I also have a glimmer of hope to become the original ancestor of the fourth layer. Quote. The unbounded Lord was excited. Before, he couldn't see a glimmer of hope at all, but now he has this glimmer of hope. But don't underestimate this glimmer of hope. Even in the high-level ancestors, I don't know how many triple-level ancestors will never be able to glimpse this glimmer of hope, and can only stay in the triple-level ancestors forever. Next, I will comprehend other black characters and engrave some more black characters on the pagoda of will. Although it is enough to inscribe the 9 extremes, it is impossible to inscribe the 9 extremes only on the pagoda of the will. Extreme 0. Yi Tian thought to himself. So in the following years, he tried his best to comprehend the black text. Fortunately, he has a lot of ancestral ancestry of extreme Taoism, and he has also comprehended a lot of extreme Taoism, so it will not be difficult for him to understand black words after spending a few more years. For other triple primordial ancestors, comprehending the extreme is the most difficult, but this step is very simple for Yi Tian. Long years have passed, and Yi Tian has comprehended one black word after another. On the pagoda of his will, there is also a black text inscribed on the layer, representing a kind of extreme pole. After hundreds of billions of eternity years passed, Yi Tian finally understood 32 black characters, but since his will pagoda only had 29 floors, he only inscribed 29 black characters. A 29-story will pagoda accommodates 29 extremes. If the unbounded Lord knows about it, he will definitely be dumbfounded. And at this time, Yi Tian's strength did not know how much he had improved, and he could destroy his previous self with one hand. I'm too powerful now, but unfortunately I don't have enough resources, and my willpower is slow to improve, otherwise I can continue to inscribe black words. Yi Tian muttered. He felt that it was time for him to go to the upper spirit realm and send a duplicate body to investigate the situation. Moreover, there may be a lot of extreme ancestral inscriptions there, and at that time, you can copy more and increase your own corpse. Chapter 2099 The Five-Fold Holy Door, the Holy Door of Virtual Teeth. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. The unbounded Lord has been to the upper spirit realm, and has stayed in the upper spirit realm for a long time, so he also has a certain understanding of the upper spirit realm. Of course, the strength of the unbounded Lord is only the third ancestor, and it is not very powerful, so the understanding of the original realm of the upper spirit is only very one-sided information. But even so, Yi Tian now has a lot of understanding of the original realm of the Supreme Spirit through the information given by the Lord of Unbounded. For example, as a high-level original region, Shengeling Yuanyuan also has many great forces, the most powerful of which belong to the 6 top great forces, and these 6 top great forces are also known as the 5th layer Holy Gate. The powers of Shengeling Yuanyuan can almost be divided into the 1st level Miscellaneous Gate, the 2nd level True Gate, the 3rd level Sect, the 4th level Heaven Gate, and the 5th level Holy Gate. Among them, the 1st layer miscellaneous sects are everywhere. Such forces have no status at all. Any one layer original ancestor can apply for the establishment of a 1st layer miscellaneous sect. This 093 kind of small forces will be destroyed at any time, so the real geniuses will not join such a miscellaneous sect at all. Of course, there are also many 2nd layer true sects, but the situation is slightly better, and they can rely on some top 3rd layer sects or 4th layer heaven doors, and the risk of being destroyed is much lower. The situation of the triple sect is better. Some top triple sects can even rely on the 5th sacred gate, and their status is still very high, and the geniuses among them even have the hope of entering the 5th sacred gate. And there are very few 4th level heaven gates. Even in the upper spiritual realm, there are more than 104 level heavenly gates, and it is not allowed to establish 4 level heavenly gates without the 4th level original ancestor. Without the permission of the 5th level holy gate, it is not allowed the establishment of the 4 heavenly gates. After all, there is always hope to be promoted to the 5th level holy gate at any time in the 4th level heaven gate, and no one wants to have one more 5 level holy gate. Therefore, the 5th layer holy gate forces may not care about the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd layer forces, but the number of 4th layer heavenly gates must be strictly controlled. Therefore, any 4-layered heavenly gate is a subordinate force of the 5th layered holy gate, and even the born enchanting genius must enter the 5th layered holy gate. According to the information given by the unbounded Lord, the 5-layer holy gate hardly recruits the original ancestor, and only recruits the genius original ancestor from the 4th level holy gate under his command. Therefore, if you want to join the 5th level holy gate as a loose cultivator, you can only join those 4-level heavenly gates first. Unfortunately, the unbounded Lord doesn't know much about those 4-layered heavenly gates. It seems that he still has to go to the upper spirit realm to inquire about the situation. Yi Tian murmured. After all, the original unbounded Lord didn't want to join the 4th heavenly sect at all, so he didn't know the information in this regard, and naturally he couldn't tell Yi Tian the specific situation. Through the positioning coordinates given by the Lord of Unbounded, Yi Tian shuttled directly from the boundary of the world to a certain coordinate position in the original Black Sea. Only after comprehending the extreme time and space poles can we travel in this way. Soon, Yi Tian came to the area of the original Black Sea, which was not far from the original area of Shangling. However, this area cannot be positioned and shuttled, and it must be honest and slow to fly over. It is said that the original ancestor of the 5 layers of Shangling Yuanyuan personally took action and fixed the time and space of this area. No ancestor can directly shuttle to the original Black Sea area corresponding to the Shangling Yuanyuan, and must fly slowly from other distant areas, come over. Yi Tian traveled through the primordial Black Sea with the extreme time and space, and traveled for a long time before arriving at the primordial Black Sea area where the upper spirit realm was located. At this time, Yi Tian saw a huge black portal. In this area, there are more than 100 such huge portals, and each black portal leads to a different area of the upper spirit realm. Moreover, if you want to enter the upper spiritual realm, you must pass through these portals, and you can't do it if you want to travel through time and space. The original ancestors of the 5 layers set up a magic circle in the original area of Shangling, so that the original ancestors could not escape, and established these black portals so that outsiders could only enter here through the portal. In this way, it would be impossible to sneak into the upper spirit realm secretly. And through the black portal also need to pay a fee, otherwise it will not be given. Any treasure that contains extremes can be used as a toll, and you need to pay such a fee every time you enter, even if you have just entered and then come out, and then enter again, you have to pay. Therefore, just to collect tolls, those 5 holy gates have to earn countless resources. Yi Tian took out an ordinary extreme treasure and gave it to the original ancestor who guarded the black portal. The other party gave Yi Tian a token, and there were some original coins on the token. The original currency is the currency of Shangling Yuanyu, and although the value of the extreme treasure given by Yi Tian is not high, it is still slightly higher than the toll fee, so the excess value is converted into the original currency and stored in this token, middle. In the future, Yi Tian can use this token for transactions, which is equivalent to a bank card on Earth. Yi Tian passed through the black portal and entered the upper spiritual realm. The original realm of Shangling is divided into 3,636 large realms, each large realm is divided into millions of small realms, and each small realm has a large number of first-level miscellaneous gates and a few 1 or 2 double-level real gates. Now, Yi Tian is located in the real ape giant city in the real ape realm of the upper spiritual realm. Because it is connected to a black portal, it has a high reputation in the nearby realm. The true ape giant city has several 4-level ancestors sitting in the seat, and naturally there are more 3-level ancestors. Yi Tian's cultivation base is inconspicuous here, so no ancestors pay attention to him. The true ape giant city is very powerful, so the news here is very well informed. Yi Tian stayed here for a long time, and slowly inquired about the news about joining the 4th heavenly sect and those 5 sacred sects. Gradually, he gained a better understanding of the relationship between these heavenly gates and holy gates. And among the more than 100 4th-layer heavenly gates, Yi Tian felt that it was suitable for him, and he did not care about the identity of outsiders. Those who had the hope of entering the 5th-layered heavenly gate should belong to the 4th-layered heavenly gate, Wukong Tianmen. The Wukong Tianmen is not the most powerful among the 4-layer Tianmen, but it has a very strong background. It has existed for 5.9 countless years, and the Wukong Tianmen is the first subordinate force of the 5th-layer Holy Gate Void Fang. The strength of the Void Fang sect is incomparably powerful. Yi Tian doesn't know how powerful it is, but the Void sect is willing to recruit outsiders, and some sacred sects don't want outsiders. After all, there are countless geniuses in the upper spirit realm, there is no shortage of original ancestors, and it is difficult for outsiders to know the details, and they do not have too much loyalty to the upper spirit realm, so many 5-layer holy gates do not want, even the 4th-layer Tianmen don't want. But the Void Fang Sacred Gate is the 6th 5-layered sacred sect to be established, so there is not enough background, so even outsiders need it. Perhaps the Void Fang sacred sect might not necessarily be as powerful as other 5-layer sacred sects, but it is the 5-layer sacred sect most suitable for Yi Tian. Then join the 4th Heaven's Gate Wukong Tianmen first. Yi Tian decided. Chapter 2100 Join Wukong Tianmen. Open black lens bracket seeking full order close black lens bracket. Wukong Tianmen, as a 4th level Tianmen force, has very strict recruitment requirements. Each realm has its own recruitment criteria. For a triple-level ancestor like Yi Tian, its recruitment requirements are even more perverted. First, the triple primordial ancestor must comprehend the 9 extreme extremes, and secondly pass through the 7th floor of the Wukong Temple of the Wukong Tianmen. If these two conditions are met, you can join the Wukong Tianmen. However, it is too difficult to comprehend the 9 extreme extremes. This requirement directly eliminates 99% of the triple primordial ancestors. For example, after comprehending the 9 extreme extremes, there is hope to hit the 4th primordial ancestor in the future. Why do you need to join the 4 heavenly gates? However, Wukong Tianmen asked for it like this, and love would not come. No empty space. This is one of the large areas of the Shengling Yuan, and it is also the place where the Wukong Tianmen is located, and it is all managed by the Wukong Tianmen. When Yi Tian came to the airless domain, he discovered that the area of this large domain is very large, equivalent to 1/10 the size of the world, and the heaven and earth are filled with the atmosphere of the extreme, which is more than the cultivation environment of the deep sea of the extreme. Even better. Soon, Yi Tian came to the Wukong city without airspace, which was the 29 test site to join the Wukong Tianmen. The scale of the Wukong city is not as big as that of the True Ape Giant City. After all, the True Ape Giant City is one of the entrances from the original Black Sea into the Upper Spirit Realm, which is why it is so important and there are many original ancestors. In Wukong City, the number of original ancestors is not so many, and most of them are ordinary perfect controllers. Hey, there are not many owners of Ji Dao Zhu Fu here, and it's repeated with me before. 1. Yi Tian muttered. He also used the copying talent to explore in the giant city of the True Ape before, but after removing the repeated extreme ancestors, only 6 extreme ancestors were copied in the end, which still took a long time to copy. Therefore, even if you come to the original realm of Shangling, if you want to copy the new Ji Dao ancestral Fu, you have to spend time looking for it slowly. Soon, Yi Tian came to the place where Wukong Tianmen took the test. Here, many people are signing up for the assessment, but Yi Tian came to sign up as the 3rd ancestor, which still attracted the attention of many ancestors. After all, the 3 original ancestors wanted to join the Wukong Tianmen, and the requirements were too harsh. This original ancestor, do you want to join my Wukong Tianmen? A triple primordial ancestor appeared and looked at Yi Tian. Yes. Yi Tian nodded slightly. First of all, you must comprehend the 9 extreme extremes, otherwise it will be a waste of my time, said the triple ancestor. Naturally I have realized it. Yi Tian said. Then come with me. This triple primordial ancestor brought Yi Tian into a space-time. Please show the extreme way you understand. The triple ancestor said. Yi Tian plans to join the Wukong Tianmen with a high profile this time, so he will get attention. Therefore, he decided to show more extremes. Anyway, he is copying his body, so he is afraid of attracting attention. He will attract the attention of the high-level Wukong Tianmen before he can join the Void Fang sect. Buzz. A variety of extreme powers permeated from Yi Tian's body. 9 kinds, 15 kinds, 20 kinds, more and more extreme poles are shown. At the beginning, the 3-level ancestor of Wukong Tianmen was relatively calm, but when he saw Yi Tian showing more than 20 kinds of extreme powers, he was directly shocked. He immediately notified the quadruple ancestors of Wukong Tianmen. Time and space split, and a 4-layered ancestor appeared. At this moment, Yi Tian saw the 4th ancestor for the first time. Each of these quadruple ancestors has an ancestral inscription, and some even have more than one kind of ancestral inscription. Ji Yuya, is that him? A quadruple ancestor asked. Elders, it is this triple primordial ancestor. He has shown a total of 29 extremes. Guya Yuanzu said. Have you really comprehended 29 extremes? Another quadruple ancestor asked in disbelief. Yes. Yi Tian once again showed the 29 extremes that he had comprehended. This time, these 4 ancestors were dumbfounded and truly believed. What's your name? Asked a quadruple ancestor. Endless ancestor. Yi Tian introduced himself. In the Shangalan Yuan, the original ancestor was used as the title, so Yi Tian came here and naturally had to adapt to the title here. Endless ancestor, you don't need to participate in other assessments, just join us in the sky door of the sky. I know that a monster like you joined the sky door of the sky to join the holy door of the void. Next time the holy door of the void is recruiting disciples, we can recommend you how about going. Said a 4th level ancestor. I'm willing to join Wukong Tianmen. Yi Tian agreed. In this way, Yi Tian easily joined Wukong Tianmen. Inside the sky door, Yi Tian came here, and directly became a core disciple of Wukong Tianmen. If he had to hide Yi Tian's situation, the 4-level ancestors of Wukong Tianmen would have to give him the identity of Daozi directly. However, with talent like him, he will definitely join the holy sect of Void Fang in the future, so he can temporarily give him the status of a core disciple, but he must find a Daozi in terms of treatment. After joining Wukong Tianmen, Yi Tian did not directly retreat and practice, but often went in and out of the Tibetan Sutra Pavilion, browsed this kind of classics, and learned more about the secrets of Shangalan Yuan and the information of cultivation. After all, Yi Tian only obtained the information from the Unbounded Lord for the cultivation information above the 3-layer primitive ancestor, but the Unbounded Lord itself is very weak, so there is not much cultivation experience to understand. Therefore, he needs to understand the following cultivation information as soon as possible. Sure enough, it is best to practice the inscription method of the system of the 3 ancestors. Only the loose cultivator can practice the inscription technique one by one, just like the void inscription technique of the Unbounded Master, which is an inscription technique that is not systematic. No, it should be said that it is incomplete. The inscription technique, Yi Tian murmured. And Wukong Tianmen has a lot of systematic inscriptions, such as the inscription that contains 9 extreme poles, the 9-star map. If you only want to break through with the 9 extreme poles, the 9-star map is undoubtedly the most suitable for the triple primitive ancestor. Into the system of inscription. There is also an inscription technique containing 18 extreme extremes, 18 golden body techniques. And the engraving technique that contains 36 extreme extremes, the voidless body technique. And Yi Tian is also constantly inquiring about the information, trying to understand the original Jodian map of his 365 black characters. He really found the information of the original Zhou Tiantu.